And just the quality of that game. I know we're talking about Melbourne and Freo. We think it's going to be a really quality contest, but I think that's the match of the round. Just the way those two sides move the ball. It's one of those one of those things. If you want to go and see a game of footy this weekend, head out there because it moves quick.
Yeah.
It is really, really slick. It's going to be a good game of footy and, as I say, genuine 50-50.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we'll genuinely find out where North Melbourne really sit in the pecking order this weekend. I mean, obviously last week against Melbourne, they had control of the play, but they've just sort of, that last quarter, they just seemed to bomb the ball inside 50 too much, and that just did them in.
Yeah, and that's it. They do play a little bit too pretty football sometimes, and then they threw that in the bin last week, and it really went against them. So it'll be interesting to see how they've reviewed the tape and which way they decide to go, because that is the accusation, that they try and be a little too pretty, switching the ball all the time, 15-metre passes, can slow them down a little bit. When they play fast and get it in quick, they look really, really good. But as you say, in the last quarter last week, it was, we're trying to play fast, but we're doing it at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and we're just dirty balls inside 50, and it's just bouncing back out, and you're shooting yourself in the foot. So well, they'll have a look at that. They haven't done that all year, really. They've probably done it for 5-minute blocks here and there, and they did it for a whole quarter, and it absolutely killed them. So they will have reviewed that and hopefully be trying to rectify that this week, although it does make it very, very difficult when you come up against one of the comp's premier sides.
And Lauren Borden, the big game is Adelaide versus Collingwood at Norwood Oval. Jeez, Collingwood on the road, particularly after losing Britt Benici to the ACL.
Yeah, that's a big loss to have Britt Benici go out, and she's had a stellar season as well, so that's a very big one to go out, especially leading up into this game against Adelaide. I think they're such a good side, Adelaide. It's amazing every time you watch them just how strong they are across the board, and as players, how highly skilled they are. So I think especially being at Norwood Oval, it's going to be very hard to go against Adelaide this weekend.
And they don't move the ball that quickly, Adelaide. They just win it inside. They're just old school.
Yep.
And that's the challenge. You lose someone like Benici, who does run through the middle and, as you say, can play across half back and does a bit of everything. It's a huge troop to lose against a side like Adelaide.
They're almost running on fumes at the moment, the Pies. I mean, obviously they've had so many injuries, especially through their midfield. They're going to have to rely on players like Michaela Cann, who had a really good game last week, and Tani Brown, who's only just starting to find her feet at senior level, and against an Adelaide outfit who have just been...
Yeah, they're good players, a lot younger.
Yeah, geez, I tell you, there's star talent on every line at Adelaide, and I tell you what, it'll be amazing to see just who Port can target in the off-season.
And finally, in the Who Cares Cup, it is Carlton versus the Gold Coast Suns at Icon Park.
Whack. I care. Look, that's a bit stiff. I care about the Suns. I think they've been very impressive all year. I think probably very unlucky not to win against the Saints. I think they had them dead to rights in the last quarter, but just couldn't put them away when they needed to. And well, the Blues have actually managed to find some momentum. I think that's 3 wins in a row now, and they're looking for 4. It's a tough one. I'm liking the Blues. The Blues star talent seems to have shined against the lesser teams of the comp, and I expect them to do the job again tomorrow.
And I guess that's the start of everything, just doing it well against the lower sides, and then you gradually build up from there. So a few good signs from Carlton, but hopefully they can show tomorrow.
It's that unfortunate accusation that they are front runners. But it certainly shone through in the last 2 or 3 weeks, and certainly last week. But Gold Coast is a good side to front run against, so it'll still be a good game, that one, I think.
It's the VFL Women's Match of the Day.
And at this point, I just got the signal. We've got to welcome our YouTube viewers as well to the coverage of Williamstown versus Essendon. You've got the Rebel Sport logo on screen at the moment, only because the sides are just doing their warm-ups. You'll have live action with the bounce down at 11 a.m. via our YouTube stream. VFLW, just search for that on YouTube to catch Williamstown and Essendon. The big news, if you're just joining us, there's a late in for Williamstown, number 37, Madison Lawrence. And if the name Lawrence doesn't ring a bell for you, that's because that's her married name. Her maiden name is Blackburn, the sister of Western Bulldogs AFLW captain Ali Blackburn. Madison Lawrence is playing today, and as we heard from Cal Hart, assistant coach of Williamstown, she will be starting in the midfield. Keep an eye for that number 37. The big news that we've got to talk about is everyone's been hanging out there to go, right, when is Essendon finally going to appoint an AFLW coach? Hawthorn's just done it. Sydney's done it. Port Adelaide's still got to pull the finger out. But Essendon, through almost an unrelated story, it got leaked out that Daisy Pearce, who's kind of toying with an idea of maybe being assistant coach for the men's team down there at Geelong, the Age article slipped the line in there. She was offered the role of AFLW senior coach at Essendon, and Lauren Borden, she said, no dice.
Yeah, well, I mean, have we all confirmed that she's retiring at season's end anyway?
That's kind of the signal
Yeah.
everyone's been getting, yeah.
I mean, they're both very, very good opportunities. It's whichever you want to take it. I guess for her, she knows so much about men's game and the women's game, so it's completely up to her decision whether she stays in the AFLW or she's obviously so heavily involved across the men's season as well. We know how great her insights are when we watch her on TV, so I think she's not out of place at all if she heads off to Geelong, chooses to go up there and be an assistant coach.
Absolutely. I've talked about this idea a fair bit on the podcast with my colleagues. I just don't think her as senior coach, that's too early for mine. You look at her coaching credentials. I think there's not really much to show for it in terms of leading a group of players, and we've seen in the men's competition over many years that there is a big difference between being an elite player and absolutely there's nothing wrong with. Look, Daisy's one of the smartest players out there. We've seen it year after year, but the fact that there is a big difference between being a player and leading 22 and a squad of 30 players or 40 players in terms of structures, in terms of values, in terms of system, whatever you want to say. She needs quite a few years in assistant coaching before she gets that. There's no doubt she'll be in a senior role one day. But I would like to see her be an assistant coach, whether it's Geelong in the men's team, whether it's in an AFLW system. She just needs some experience as an assistant before she goes and takes up a senior role.
I think something's going to happen really quickly with Days, because you've got that glowing endorsement from Patrick Dangerfield that we read in that article during the week. And, well, if she works really hard, so, with Chris Scott, if she's to take that role, I think we might see something in maybe 1 or 2 years. And, senior coaching is really difficult. So, as you say, the assistant coaching window is really important. And she's a very fast learner, an incredible football brain. So, who knows, maybe 1 to 2 years.
To Dan Hill down the end, I asked the question for... It's more, I guess, a shock. Essendon's going for a rookie coach to lead a expansion side. I mean, I guess the standard thinking out there would be, wouldn't you want to get someone with a few years' experience under their belt to put the correct systems in place?
Oh, look, I disagree. I think you just go out and you get the best person for the job. I think if you can get Daisy Pearce, you get her. I think it's whether Daisy Pearce wants to do the job. Now, I think Daisy Pearce could probably be in terms of credential and in terms of future possibility, I think she's probably best placed at this stage to be the first women's senior coach of an AFL men's team. And I think she probably knows that. Do you want to come to Essendon and sort of start, let's be honest, the AFLW coaches, if you can take a TAC Cup boys job over an AFLW women's job, it's probably a 50-50. Let's be honest, that's where it's at. So, and that's just the current reality. So if I'm Daisy Pearce, I'm saying, can I get a gig with the men as an assistant coach? Happy to do both, which Geelong have done in the past with Paul Hood and others. So I think that's the way she's angling.
Yeah, is there a fear for her being boxed in to the women's side of the game if she took, for example, that Essendon job?
100%.
Because you have a look at Peter Searle. Peter Searle originally went to St Kilda after going through Port Melbourne and the Western Jets, coaching boys football, then the VFL men's. And she wanted to work on the men's side of the game because back then she'd done all she could in women's football. She won 5 flags in a row at Darebin. There wasn't much more she could do. This is all pre-AFLW. And there was kind of the vibe that at St Kilda, near the end when they were bringing in an AFLW team, she kind of got shuffled sideways and went, voila, here's your gig. Kind of a gig that she took on, but probably in her heart didn't really want. She was trying to break that glass ceiling on the men's side of the game. Is that the same fear with Daisy, that if she'd taken the Essendon job, that's it, then she's locked into the women's side of the game? And, she might be taken seriously in the men's side after a women's senior coaching job, but it might be a longer road.
Well, that's it. How many current AFLW or previous, I know Beck Goddard has made an attempt. As you say, Peter Searle's the obvious one. help me out here, the Fremantle coach who coached Melbourne originally.
Oh, you had Michelle Cowan.
Michelle Cowan, superstar.
She was doing a little bit of work behind the scenes, almost in a developmental role, following Paul Roos when Roos was coaching at Melbourne. But because she just couldn't do the constant flying back and forth between WA and Vic, she obviously in the Fremantle job.
At the risk of being chased out of Essendon as well, I think you've got to look at the progressive nature of the clubs as well. And I think even the glowing endorsement from Paddy Dangerfield and I think Geelong have sort of put themselves forward as one of those more progressive clubs, and not saying, Essendon has had dare I say, the drug saga still kind of lingers. I'm sorry to bring it up, Pete, but it is still in the back of people's brains, and I think that's definitely going to play into some of Daisy's decisions. But look, if Essendon was to say, Truck comes along and says, yeah, we've got an assistant coaching job for you with the forwards this year, you'd have to weigh that up, because I think there's the factor of travelling down to Geelong is not easy either. It is, she'd still be living here. So, look, it's a big decision for her. I'm not a big believer in coaching badges. I reckon that's all rubbish. I don't reckon it's worth the paper it's printed on.
Oh,
so
it isn't.
Doc and I disagree there.
It isn't, because there's a bunch of women out there that have coached state league football for years, have got their AFL level 3, cannot get a look in.
It doesn't mean anything, and that's fine. And I know Clarko's been big on that, et cetera, et cetera. But look, it's a really interesting space. The fact that it's on the back page is exactly where it should be. It is the next phase of women's footy, and I think I was even sort of going through it today and looking at the current AFL coaches. From what I could count, there's only one who didn't play the game at the highest level, which is Chris Fagan, who is 105, let's be honest, and did a very, very long apprenticeship. And look, we've had the Wayne Brittons and a few others that have done that. At the moment, how many AFLW coaches have we got that have played the game at that highest level? Not many, because it hasn't been around that long. I think it's zero. But I think we've got sort of one and the same here. So the way I look at it is, if Daisy Pearce said to me, hey, run over there, I'd go, yep, I'm going. And to me, that's sort of the can you catch the tennis ball test.
Doc, I asked this important question. Now that's out there that Daisy was offered the gig, and we can assume she was possibly the first person offered the Essendon AFLW gig, maybe outside Brendan Major, because I've got a feeling that he's happy in the background doing that support role. If you're an experienced coach and Essendon come knocking on your door next, do you kind of now and going, well, I'm second or potentially third choice along the line, and I don't really want to be second or third choice?
Well, I suppose it depends on the sort of outlook that they have. I mean, look, if I'm in the shoes, and I'm not the first choice coach, and Essendon have approached me, I'd certainly consider it. I've looked at this group, and I reckon there's a huge buy-in already with what they want to go in, and I think Dan made a really good point. I mean, look, we don't agree with the whole discussion, and that's fair enough. But I certainly get where he comes from. All you have to do is just get you have a plan, and get the players to buy into that plan, and all you got to do really is just be a people's person in both on the field and off the field. Look, I'd certainly consider if I was second pick to third pick. I'm usually not even first picked on a football field, for God's sake. So I'd certainly open the doors to a conversation with Essendon.
I'd love to see the numbers as well on country Victoria coaches. Forget the gender factor. But Kenny Hinckley's from Camperdown. He's got. I wrote Kenny off. He's done a terrific job.
There is a bit of a theme at Essendon. I was ironically just watching recently back that Bombers documentary, and you talk about when Kevin Sheedy was in charge of the men's side here in the early 80s. Hey, he liked a lot of country footballers.
Yeah, and I think that there is a bit of DNA in that, I think, for Essendon, and that's part of offering Daisy the job. Of course, is it Mildura, Pete? She's from up that way?
No, northeast. She's around the northeast.
Oh, she's northeast. Okay. So it's oh no, she's from the bush. Put it that way. And
I think it's around Bright, around that area.
Oh, she's that side.
Yeah.
But she does have that sort of flavour to her. You can people may not know she's from country Victoria. Now they've thrown up. You go, oh yeah, that makes a bit of sense. So I have a suspicion that sort of DNA really plays into her favour as well, and probably the Geelong aspect. As we know, the go-home factor has been there for so long at Geelong. I don't know how you get a go-home factor when you're an hour out of Melbourne, but anyway, they're still running with that.
And when you thought Mildura, you're probably thinking Mel Hickey, who's assistant coach of the Bulldogs at the moment.
Of course. Another bit of country flavour, Pete. I've got to keep tabs on that now that I'm up in Bendigo. Keep stumping up for the country Victorians.
We'll take an opportunity to take a quick break here on WARFradio.com and the VFLW YouTube stream. When we return, it'll be 11 a.m. and the bounce down between Essendon and Williamstown at the Hangar.
Life can be really tough when you or a close family member has cancer. But if you're 12 to 25, Canteen's in your corner. Canteen provides whatever practical and emotional support you need, from connecting you with other young people who get what you're going through, to helping you develop new skills to cope, and just bringing back some fun into your world. So if cancer's messing with your life, check out canteen.org.au. And remember, Canteen's in your corner.
Hi, this is Missy Higgins for RAD, recording artists, actors and athletes against drink driving. I see a lot of things at gigs, mostly people having a good time and a few drinks. But what I'd hate to see is someone getting behind the wheel after they'd been drinking. Being even a little bit over the limit makes it too easy to lose control. So if you plan to drink, plan ahead. Arrange a designated driver who won't drink. Remember, music lives and you should too.
We're at a party. 3 little kids were playing in the pool, all under 5. Adults were busy talking, glanced over, noticed the little one underwater. I think she needs help. That's how easily something can happen. It only takes a few seconds. Don't worry, the party had a happy ending. But we need to remember, fence the pool, shut the gate. Teach your kids to swim, it's great. Supervise, watch your mate, and learn how to resuscitate. I'm Laurie Lawrence. Kids Alive, do the 5.
What do you listen to while you're waiting for the next VFLW game on Wharf Radio? Do you long for the days when radio stations played music that you knew without being constantly bombarded with ads and by announcers who want to make it about themselves and not about the music? Welcome to GoRadio.live. We're here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, playing the very best music of the past 70 years. You can listen at www.goradio.live, or better still, download the free GoRadio.live app for your Apple or Android device. GoRadio.live. It's radio as it should be.
It's the VFL Women's Match of the Day.
Indeed, it is the VFL Women's Match of the Day. You have got your commentary team down the boundary line, John O'Van. You've got on match analyst Alex Doherty alongside Daniel Hill. And on play-by-play, you've got myself, Peter Holden. And to get us underway from ABC Sport, it's the one and only Lauren Borden.
So umpire's just setting himself here at the Hangar. The Bombers looking to go 4 from 4 to start this VFLW season. Williamstown looking to see what they can do on a wet day here in Melbourne. Little bit of drizzle, but the two rucks will go at it. It's Sarek and Nelda who are able to hit it out. Ford for the Bombers can pick it up. She's dispossessed of the ball. A scrum will form in the middle of the ground as both sides just try and move it away and see how far they can get it. It's into the hands of Zanketta, who can push it forward for the Bombers. They might be able to do something here. It'll be an intercept taken there by the Seagulls just on the 50 line. Denell coming in there for Williamstown. And the ball wrapped up at that 50-metre arc line for Essendon. And it'll result in the umpire having to come in a minute played in this game and throw up the ball.
And that's what he does. Now to wins the ruck down again. Zanchetta had it momentarily, had to get the ball back. Off their half-back line for the Bombers now. They kick it up the line. That was courtesy of Doonan. Got it out towards the centre wing position. Jeannie goes with a hand pass, coming in board like a piece of soap there for Nelda. Struggled to hang on to it. Got about 10, then went the other way to Ford. Ford on the left boot, now going towards the centre half forward position. Difficult ball to juggle there. And it's swallowed up nicely for the Bombers, and they'll go inside 50. Missed the intended target. Talia Wright was giving pressure from behind. Whiting now for the Seagulls. Gets it away towards the half-back flank. Melrose drives side of the ground. Maria Anthony was there originally for the Bombers. Go to a teammate. Immediately got caught. The umpire's on the whistle and says that's holding the ball. Ruby Tripodi will have the resulting free kick, and she'll kick long.
So the outer side of the wing is the way Williamstown will go. They're kicking to the left-hand side of your screen or your radio dial, depending on where you're joining into our call. Wrapped up at the back there is Nicole Julian doing well for the Bombers just to ensure that ball is going nowhere.
So early stages, we've had probably an obvious push in the back, let go, and then a very hot holding the ball. So the umpires are going to pay the holding the ball today, but around the contest and the tackles, looks like they're just going to let it go a little bit longer, which is good to see.
So Sarek with the tap out, able to get it across to Kawa, who can send the ball down long onto the wing. It'll be an intercept by the Bombers. Not a very good kick. Might give Williamstown a chance here. Stepnell's in there, playing against her old side. She can get the ball out the back via a hand pass. Williamstown might be on here. Again, a few drop balls there. This one coming from Stratford, who's stepping in as the captain today. And Stratford's wrapped up on the 50 arc for Williamstown, and the umpire again will be forced to intervene and throw the ball up.
Well, there have been a couple of times there that Essendon tried to switch up the play, and it just hasn't come up the way they wanted to. I don't think the conditions are going to be suited for that sort of stuff, so it's just going to have to be just a game of meterage today.
Umpire blows the whistle, and once again we'll have a ball up. Both captains out for today, or should I say one co-captain, being Georgian Anscon for Essendon, out with the knee, out for 1 week. And Erin Mead pulled out late today for Williamstown, seeing Madison Lawrence come in for her. And once again, we're going to have another stoppage forward in the middle there for the Bombers, holding it in very tight with Jasmine Kawa. And once again, we'll restart the play on the paint, 50 metres out from the Williamstown goal, attacking left of screen. Fighting in hands and knees there is Stratford, can't get the football out. Umpire's going to be like the sheepdog, do his roving work. Round and round he goes, and he says, going nowhere, we'll call for another ball up. We'll get some more thoughts from Daniel Hill.
Yeah, so 2 clearances to Essendon so far. They're clearly winning it round the pack, so Williamstown will get their first here, but clearly Essendon on top in the middle early.
Kawa gets it across to Tripodi. Tripoti's kick gets immediately smothered off the boot, travelled about 10 metres forward. One Bombers player surrounded by 3 Seagulls. And that player being held up there momentarily, looked like might have been Julian, I think, from a distance. And the umpire says, I'll take the football back and we'll throw it up in the air, and away we go again. Nelda does the ruck work. Forward looking on the outside of the pack, Zoa Zanchetta. Ball manages to spill out as the umpire let it go on a little bit that time. Again, Kawa is on the ball and managed to extract it out momentarily, but the Bombers pickpocket it. And this time Mariana Anthony kicks it in towards the wing position on the Melrose Drive side of the ground. Cecilia McIntosh came swooping in, affected the potential pass, trying to get in there. Talia Wright laying a tackle for the Seagulls. Quick little scoop out by Tripodi. One step kick towards centre half forward here for the Seagulls. Stepnell from behind. Managed to slap it down to the ground. Like Twister, everyone's going to jump on the mat and try and pull out some moves. Rugby Mauls, the ball was just picked up momentarily. Tackle laid on by Eloise Ashley Cooper. And once again, the ball ending up with Stratford, who'll give it back to the umpire.
Nelda played for a free kick there, not today, unfortunately. She threw the hands up. Nothing forthcoming from the umpire.
So the ball just being played between these 2 arcs at the moment as Ashley Cooper of the Bombers is wrapped up. Again, giving Williamstown potentially a chance to progress here. With the ball is Kawa. She can go forward and push it forward, but it's out of bounds, and the umpire will throw it in, or it was out of bounds on the full, rather. So it'll be an Essendon free kick right in front of that scoreboard, which shows no score at the moment, 4 minutes into this match. And it'll be a free kick on the way of Danny Marshall. So she'll just opt for distance, and it'll go to a pack. Ball brought to ground, neither side able to gain clean control of it. Zanchetta again was there for the Bombers. She overran it. The ball's pushed forward. Going and trying to get a hand into it was Sarek, the big ruck, and she's able to do well with it. Pushes it across. The Bombers can go now. The nice intercept from that stoppage. They'll be able to push it forward. Davies will run onto it. She's on the 50. She turns again. She's taken, though. Tried to do too much with the footy, and she's gone, and the ball will be going back the way of Williamstown. Still no score, 5 minutes played.
Bridie Kennedy with a resulting free kick, and she elects to go past the player on the mark, goes for a run, kicks it up towards centre wing position. Marshall was there from behind. Ball is immediately trapped and wrapped up, and the umpire says no opportunity, and we'll call for a ball up.
I'll tell you what, Jordan Zanchetta started really, really well on the inside. Just a lot of clean contested work, already up to 3 clearances already.
Stepnell immediately caught by Ford, put into the ground. Tripodi again tries to shrug off Zanchetta, got it to Stepnell, who dropped it cold. Umpire says play on. Stepnell goes back in again for a second crack at it. Hand pass going back towards Bridie Kennedy, missed its intended target. Kennedy's got to do some chasing work with Davies on her hammer against the boundary line, and the umpire says it's not last disposal. It dribbled over, came off a second set of hands, so therefore we'll throw the ball in. Get some thoughts from Daniel Hill.
A little bit of Oz kick under 10s at the moment, Pete. Play on they tried. I like it. Adapting to the conditions. It's been very scrappy inside. Essendon still on top in the clearances, winning that battle 4-1.
So the ball coming back in, and again it was Stepnell there for the Seagulls. She overruns it, so the Bombers might be able to do something here. Again, just the ball scrubbing along the ground. Neither side able to gain a very clean possession. A kick out will just go into the centre circle. Running after it was Ashley Cooper of the Bombers. As the ball just sits inside that centre. Again, it might be a chance for the Bombers now to push forward onto the forward 50. It'll run in there. Mia Raycliffe, it'll be in a foot race there. She's got support, but it'll be Williamstown that wins out. The ball might be able to go back the other way now through Tripodi. So she's able to send the ball on a boot, goes along the wing. It'll hit a bit of a contest, and it'll be Stratford who's able to gather. Again, plenty of pressure on that ball just means that it'll be wrapped up. Umpire, let's play continue. As players just run after the ball. Obviously a very difficult ball to pick up, just slipping out of each of the players' hands as they go for the handball. Left foot kick will send it forward towards the Bombers' end of the ground. But it could be the Seagulls now able just to gather and send it back. A kick, not very good, will set it into the centre circle. It goes through the legs there of Tripodi. And the umpire will be forced to come into this centre circle and again throw it up. Again, still no score on this at this time, as we still play between the two centre circles, two 50-metre arcs rather. As play continues now, and it'll go forward through Scarlett Donnell for Williamstown.
And generally got the bump in the head on the way through. Donnell goes in there. Bombers ball though out with Ford. Kicks it high, and a good mark taken for the Dons. And getting on the end of it this time looks like it might be Manfrey. Olivia Manfrey goes towards the pocket. Missed the intended target. Doing some good bumping work there was Ella Baxter. Federica Frew got it, put into the ground. Umpire said play on. Cecilia McIntosh with a soccer style. Picked up by Mia Ray Clifford. He says, stuff this, I'm going to snap it. Goal! That's how it gets done. 1 straight 6, Essendon, Williamstown, yet to score. And with some thoughts, here is the doc, Alex Doherty.
Well, that was some quick thinking there from Cecilia McIntosh. Just keep the ball moving, and it was luck of the draw there, because the ball came off the leg of the Williamstown defender and it fell into the lap of Mia Ray Clifford. Who, just quick thinking, Dan, just sets up the first goal of the day.
Yeah, that's the experience, isn't it? Celia, just kick it in Mia's general direction. There's been a lot of kicks off the ground in the last minute or so. I think that happens when you look around the ground. No one really kicks it off the ground early, and as soon as the first person does it and it travels 35 metres, everyone gets on board.
It was at the perfect height for Cecilia. Bottom shelf at Coles.
I tell you what, Williamstown, I've loved their pressure around the contest early. 15 tackles for the game so far.
So Mia Ray Clifford gets the first goal for the Bombers on the board as it goes into the hands of McIntosh, and she can run here. She puts it on the boot. She'll pop it up. She's looking for Clifford again, who takes the grab, falling onto her knees. Mia Ray Clifford will take the grab, and this time she'll take a set shot to see if she can get her second goal on the board in the space of 2 minutes.
A great clearance by the Bombers, and well done to Cecilia McIntosh again, who finds her running mate, Mia Ray Clifford. Just a great kick and great use of the body too by Clifford.
Yeah, I think we know who's kicking to each other at the start of training every night.
The ultimate pair, those two, and Clifford will look to finish this one off as she skips in. She keeps it low. She doesn't miss these ones. Mia Ray Clifford with 2 to start the match for the Bombers. And it's Essendon 2 straight 12 here at the hangar, leading Williamstown. Still yet to score as we've played 10 minutes in this opening term.
So a huge stat, sorry, Doc. 2 centre breaks to Essendon. I know the last one was a bit ugly across half back, but that one was pretty much straight out of the middle and away we go. And all one-way traffic in the last couple of minutes.
I'll tell you what, I've liked the start to Mariana Anthony, just the pressure that she brings. We talked about Williamstown's pressure around the contest, but she's bringing it back for the Bombers at the moment. The 4 tackles, she's leading all Bombers on the ground.
I'm thinking of classic duos, the captain and Tennille, Hall and Oates, McIntosh and Clifford. That's what it seems to be in the last 60 seconds.
That's big company there with Hall and Oates there, Pete.
As the umpire throws the ball up in the air and away we go again. I wonder how their karaoke is, as now to quickly got it down to advantage. Bombers now kick it long, courtesy of Radford trying to find Davies. Davies goes in for a second crack, and it's got the opponent wrapped up. That's dropped cold, and that is going to be a free kick. It's Bridie Kennedy that was caught with a footy. Jessie Davies has it outside the 50 as she stands 58 metres out from goal. Goes for the run. Kicks it to square it up for Federica Frew. Just bumped off the line at the last moment. Manfrey can't go in and pick it up. Tierney tries to fire out the hand pass. Didn't quite work. Courtney Ugle goes in there. Ugle got bumped at the crucial moment courtesy of Kawa. Kawa goes again with the pressure work. Doing well for Williamstown. But it's the Bombers. They've got plenty of numbers. And it's Sarah Ford that will receive on the paint. 50 out. Looking for Mia Ray Clifford. Can she get 3 in as many minutes? Gets shoved off the ball at the crucial moment by Talia Wright. Sarah Ford goes in to put the pressure on Wright. Now is Biden-Webb-Webster. She's right on the last line of defence. Gets it across to Whiting. Whiting back over the top to Biden-Webb-Webster. Back to Whiting again. They're saying, how about us as a duo? Oh, lost control of the ball. Davies has got her absolutely covered. The umpire says she got rid of it fairly, and Sasha Long gets the kick away.
Jeez, that was a good tackle by Davies. You thought she might have been rewarded there for the Bombers. But rather, Williamstown will just get it out there and hopefully get it to a little bit of safety for the side as we'll have a ball up just outside that centre square on the outer side of the ground.
That's holding the ball every day of the week, isn't it, Dan?
Well, touching the ball on the ground, I think that's sort of your prior opportunity. But no, I didn't mind it. Let them play.
Well, maybe to make up for it, the umpire's found a free kick for Nelda. So she just pops it into the forward 50, and from nothing, the mark will be taken there by Renee Tierney. So you'd think Tierney might be backing herself for this one. She's already kicked 8 this season.
Just having a look around. I think it's the pass.
She is. She's gone with a flat pass, and it was a good decision in the end because she spotted up her teammate in Olivia Manfrey.
I've watched Williamstown the last 5 minutes here. They're trying to deploy a loosened defence, but no one's impacting the contest for them, and Essendon just looking through that wall just seamlessly. It's not looking good here for Williamstown at the moment.
So the Calder Cannons product just throws up a little bit of wet grass, really.
Lloydie would be happy with that.
He would be happy with that here at the hangar. And she makes her approach down. It's a nice looking kick off her right boot. The umpire just moves to the left, but she squeezes it through. So Olivia Manfrey now with the Bombers' 3rd goal on the board. It's 3 goals straight for Essendon. They've already started to build a buffer here. Still a few minutes left to be played in this first term.
Well, even in greasing conditions, the Bombers are doing the best work just in their forward half. They're lowering their eyes. They're looking at targets. 3 goals from 7 inside 50s already. It's almost looking like a bit of a training drill out there at the moment.
Well, really, their only mistake was, as we mentioned earlier in the quarter, where they tried to switch the play from left half back and had it smothered and nearly came unstuck. Aside from that, it's been champagne footy in these pretty wet conditions. The Bombers well and truly on top.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? It seemed like Williamstown had Essendon in a vice there for 5 minutes, and once the sun comes out, so do the Bombers. As the ball's on the ground, kicked along the carpet by Sasha Long. Got it up the line, looking for Hosking there of Williamstown. Couldn't quite control the football. Plenty of Bombers back there at the half-back, and they're going to kick it out towards the wing position on the broadcast side. Mariana Anthony chasing after it was Sarek. Sarek tried to do a bit of the shepherding work. Tierney came through there. Tripodi overran the football for Williamstown. Sasha Long got in there. Immediately caught by Zanchetta. Zanchetta goes again. Mariana Anthony, her own teammate, fighting in with it. On the outside is Tripodi, and the umpire says, I'll ask for the ball back. On the bottom of the pack, Ali Blackburn's sister, Maddie Lawrence. Umpire will take the football back again. Sarek does the punch work, brings the ball to ground. Anthony had it momentarily. Sasha Long all over her. And the umpire's going to circle like a sheepdog and says, Caruso, you didn't get it out in time. I'll take the ball back and restart the play.
The orange boots. I don't know, Pete. Your first game. Maddie Lawrence, a big statement.
Yeah, I was going to say, talking about making a big statement, that's huge.
She's just used those boots to soccer it off the ground into the middle, but it'll be picked up there ably by Heil of the Bombers. String of hand passes here. Heil will get it back from Caruso. She fumbles it, and this time she'll put it on the boot and see how much distance she can get it towards Clifford, who just overruns the ball through her legs. It's McIntosh who picks it up, sends the hand pass across. McIntosh will go back and do her own work and follow the ball, and she'll jump on it, and a pack will form. And the umpire will just give them a little bit of time to sort it out themselves. It does fall through the back, like the back of a rugby scrum. But Stepnell tackles her opponent to ensure the ball's not going anywhere in a hurry. Taken high there for the Bombers. Was Doonan? It was. So Doonan taken high there for the Bombers. Means that she'll have a free kick on the outer side of the ground. Centre wing. She just opts for a chip kick looking for Clifford, who couldn't hang on to it. She jumped for it but couldn't hold on to it. The Bombers will stay in possession here though. A kick will go to the top of the 50. McIntosh was there. She couldn't hold on to it. Williamstown might be able to get themselves out of trouble here. It'll be up to Baxter to do something with the ball. It spills to ground. Still in the possession of the Seagulls, but it's tough work to get it out. Sarek might be able to do something with it. She's dispossessed of the ball. And the Bombers will get the free kick 45 metres out, and it'll be in the hands of Mia Ray Clifford. So Clifford's looking to pass here. She's just looking off to her right. Waiting for the lead to come, it looks like, Clifford, or will she just decide to pop it to the hot spot? She does. She sends a nice piercing pass, makes the distance easily, but it just goes through for the Bombers' first behind of the day, 3-1-19. They're leading Williamstown yet to score.
Well, again, we're seeing Williamstown employ a couple of spares just behind the play there. It forced Mia Ray Clifford to take that shot because whenever there was a lead, there's a Williamstown spare picking it off.
Shani Whiting from defence. Long booming kick. Travels about 60 metres. Intercepted, though. Taken by Amelia Radford. Radford for the Bombers, right on the edge of the centre square. Looking for some options. Had Clifford calling. That was the dummy run. Here comes the real run in. Manfrey almost got falconed as well.
She started pretty well, hadn't she?
She's been an exceptional talent out of the NAB League. Played well here a couple of weeks ago against Port Melbourne and has continued that trend against Williamstown. Will be looking for her second. And when she puts boots to ball, she'll be kicking from approximately 34 metres out on a slight angle. Manfrey, kicking towards the right of screen, pushes it to the left-hand side for a minor score. 3-2-20 is Essendon. Williamstown yet to score, and here's some thoughts from Daniel Hill.
So that's their 6th mark inside 50 to start this game. We'll have to check that one with the champion data guys next to us, but it's a high number, none for Williamstown so far. So they need to get the ball down forward if they can.
So not long left in this quarter. Williamstown will be looking to just dull that run of the Bombers at the moment, but it might be hard work to get that done. Kick inbound comes from Nicole Julian. She was looking for McIntosh, who juggles the ball and holds on to a grab. So she's at a tight angle, McIntosh. She's about 35 metres out, just in front of our commentary position here at the hangar.
The fountain of youth herself.
It is. And she's got the skills to do it. She decides to go for the centering ball. It was a good kick, bounced into space. And it'll give Sarek a chance to run after it and kick the ball forward, find her teammate in Georges, who will have to chase after the ball to find possession of it. Another pack forms doing the tackling there for the Bombers was Anthony. On the outer side of the ground, the Bombers have still got time here to score. Running in was Radford, as the ball will make its way across the 50. Running after it is Ugle. She can pick it up. She's got time to look at the ball, pick it up, put it on her right boot and snap just towards that goal square. No Bomber able to mark the ball. Carla will be there for Williamstown. She can't get rid of it or can't get hold of it to help her side, and instead there'll be a ball up in a rather dangerous spot for the Bombers, 20 metres out from their goal.
One thing that's definitely improved in the women's game in the last few years is the bumping.
Absolutely.
Just the side on, the strength around the ball, and another good display of it there for Essendon to lock it in their 50.
Just the blocking from their teammates as well. Essendon have done it about 3 or 4 times already off the top of my head. It's just great team footy.
The original clearing kick from Williamstown was intercepted by Sarah Ford. Dangerous kick, but it works out okay for Nicole Julian. Been told there's 4 internationals in Essendon's side today. Julian, who's from New Zealand, Marshall from the USA, Heil from Canada, and Doonan from Ireland. As almost intercepting the mark was Baxter, dropped it, had to get rid of it while under pressure, gave it across to Bridgewater, who was immediately besieged upon. Ugle goes in there, tries to lay the tackle. McIntosh at the feet, didn't work out. Whiting just boots it quickly to get it outside of trouble. There between half-back flank and centre wing, had to get rid of it quickly, Sarah Hosking, and the umpire said she was dumped afterwards and will get a resulting free kick. So Sarah Hosking for Williamstown. Yes, Doc? As the siren sounds for quarter time. So it is Essendon 3-2-20. Williamstown no score after 20 minutes of football here at the hangar. John O'Van, we might get you to have a listen to Penny Keeler-Reid and what she might have to say in the Williamstown huddle as he tries and rallies her troops. But to Dan Hill and the Doc, I guess in one way the scoreboard doesn't reflect the effort Williamstown put in for the first 5 minutes. They really had the brakes on Essendon. And is it fair to say there's probably about a 5-minute patch there it opened up for the Bombers?
Yeah, well, I think clearance-wise and around the contest, Williamstown have actually been very, very good. They're tackling well. They're winning contested ball very well. But you see the difference between the two sides. Essendon just have that class, that poise, that vision to look and pick off open players. But where you look at Williamstown, that second half, maybe even about the last 12 to 13 minutes, the ball's been situated inside Essendon's forward half, and you see Williamstown trying to move it out, and there's just nobody there. It's either they're kicking it to open space and the Essendon players are running onto it, or Essendon just picking it off with intercept marks.
Yeah, and my favourite stat, Pete, as you know, the inside 30. We introduced that one about a decade ago, and they've finally adopted it in AFL land, which is great. But Williamstown had the first inside 30 to start the game, and Essendon have had 9 unanswered since then. So the depth of entry as well, and sort of taking that first mark on the arc, and then I think, as the Doc alluded to a few times, Williamstown trying to get the extra back, but probably not in time due to the pace of the ball movement, and Essendon just picking them apart. And look, their foot skills are very, very good for this level, Essendon, especially given the conditions. And so far they've held sway. And there's no breeze. There's nothing to speak of. So the 3-2 is a genuine lead on their home track, and they look to be well and truly in charge at this stage.
Lauren Borden, what did the goal kickers look like at quarter time?
So obviously we had Mia Ray Clifford with those early 2 goals. She kicked one just as she was falling down, put it on the boot, went straight through. The second one she got was a set shot, and then Manfrey came through with a strong marker with another set shot of her own to cap off the 3 goals for the Bombers before they put the 2 behinds on a little later on.
3-2-20 Essendon, no score Williamstown. We'll be back with the second quarter right after this.
What do you listen to while you're waiting for the next VFLW game on Wharf Radio? Do you long for the days when radio stations played music that you knew without being constantly bombarded with ads and by announcers who want to make it about themselves and not about the music? Welcome to GoRadio.live. We're here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, playing the very best music of the past 70 years. You can listen at www.goradio.live, or better still, download the free GoRadio.live app for your Apple or Android device. GoRadio.live. It's radio as it should be.
Life can be really tough when you or a close family member has cancer. But if you're 12 to 25, Canteen's in your corner. Canteen provides whatever practical and emotional support you need, from connecting you with other young people who get what you're going through, to helping you develop new skills to cope, and just bringing back some fun into your world. So if cancer's messing with your life, check out canteen.org.au. And remember, Canteen's in your corner.
If you've had something stolen,
or if you've had property damaged, you need the police, not the sirens. If you've lost something or found something valuable,
or if you want to register a party or let us know you're going away on holiday, you need the police, not the sirens.
When you need the police, but not the sirens, you can now report these incidents online at police.vic.gov.au or call 131 444.
Authorised by the Victorian Government, Melbourne.
No matter what your age, most of us played sport when we were young, and there was always one thing that made you want to disappear into the corner or even give up your chosen sport. And that was when somebody on the sideline hurled abuse at either you or a teammate or an official. These are things that make sport so painful for so many kids, and the time has come to stop it. I'm Usman Khawaja from the Australian cricket team. My message is a simple one. Let kids be kids. Let them enjoy their sport. Find out more at playbytherules.net.au.
Live from the hangar in Tullamarine, it is the VFL Women's Match of the Day, and you're also catching us on YouTube. Just go to the VFLW YouTube channel and you will see at quarter time, Essendon 3-2-20 leading Williamstown no score. John O'Van is listening into Penny Cula-Reid and the Williamstown huddle. In fact, he's just appeared from there now. John O'Van, down to you. What did Coach Penny Cula-Reid have to say?
The feeling in the Williamstown camp is just very flat. And Penny said that in the first 10 minutes of that first quarter, they had control. They just lost it through the midfield. Said to keep an eye out on leading lanes in the midfield and just making sure that the back and mids link up together. Don't expect one zone to do someone else's job.
Got some around the ground scores as well. You've got Peter Holden, by the way, with Lauren Borden, Alex Doherty, Daniel Hill and John O'Van. I can tell you your doggies are just down by 7 points at the moment, Alex. They're 1 straight 6, trailing Casey 2-1-13 at quarter time.
We like that. We like that a lot. They're fighting the doggies. It's good.
And Dan Hill will be very happy about this. The Saints lead the Cats at three-quarter time in the early game. 4-1-25 to 3 straight 18.
That's massive for the Saints.
Cats could be looking down the barrel at their first loss. And we need to remind you as well, as a courtesy, coming up at 12:05 p.m. on the AFL website. You can watch it through the VFL app. Collingwood and Hawthorn calling the game the Full Monty, Julia Montesano.
Oh, yes.
So tune in for that one if you can. We're just about ready to get underway for the second term. Once again from ABC Sport, it's Lauren Borden.
So just as the sun comes out here on a bit of a dreary morning it was in Melbourne, the play gets underway again. Running onto it will be Radford for the Bombers, and she can get it across to Ugle. It's a very quick inside 50 here for the Bombers. Might be a chance straight away to get a goal on the board. Tackle down will keep that stoppage and keep the ball inside the Bombers forward 50. As Davies brought down for the Bombers, she'll hand the ball back to the umpire as players go around the ball. Nailed it with the tap out, pushes it down. The umpire finds a free kick though from that stoppage, and it'll go against Nulda. So Sarek will get the ball for Williamstown. The ball will make its way back to her, just sitting on the goal line, giving her side an opportunity just to get into position as they aim to get this ball out of the dangerous zone in defence. So Sarek starts assessing her options. Looks like she'll take it towards the broadcast side of the ground. She opts for the short hand pass to Whiting. Kick came off the back of her boot. It wasn't a very good kick. Went along the ground, gave Essendon all the opportunity. It'll be Tierney here who can just put it on her boot, put it towards goals. It doesn't go all the way. It stops short, but it falls into the hands of Clifford. So a contested mark taken there by Clifford. She shrugged off two opponents. And again, she'll have a set shot from almost directly in front, 25 metres out.
I'd love to know the contested mark numbers because I think Essendon have just been very good with the conditions. They've bodied really well. They've focused on the ball really, really well. And look, I tell you what, look, you just got to kick it. You just got to try and boot the ball out. That hand pass just meant nothing.
So Mia Ray Clifford absolutely thriving today here at the hangar. She puts it on the boot. It just swings right. So it'll be her first behind of the day. She'll go to 2-1, and the Bombers will go to 3-3 as they lead Williamstown, who still have not scored. We've played 2 minutes in this first term.
Yeah, Mia Ray, as soon as she takes 2 or 3 stutter steps, it's all over. It's not a good look.
As the kick in from full back, Sarek went flying through the air, spilling it out of her hands as Doonan gave the hand pass off to Ashley Cooper, who gave it across to Cornish under all kinds of pressure from Tripodi. Dropped the football. Going in there to lay a tackle again was Stratford for Williamstown. Ball popped over the top. Zanchetta came attacking at the football. Couldn't get clean hands on it. Does now at the second crack. Gets it across to Cornish on the paint. 50 metres out from goal. Radford goes for the quick hurry kick inside 50. It's a dribble of a football. Davies got there. Nearly had the Reg Grundy's pulled down. Gave away the hand pass. Intercepted by the Seagulls. Sasha Long had to get, pardon me, it was Biden-Webb-Webster who had to get rid of it under pressure. Essendon kick it back inside 50. Now looking for it is McIntosh, who overran the pill. Goes in with a one-on-one. She's fighting for the ball with Zanel, and the umpire says, I'll take the ball back, and I'll get some thoughts from the doc.
Well, I've been really impressed with Biden-Webb-Webster's run off the back line, but the fact that she's running and she's holding onto the ball for so long is because no one's presenting an option forward of it.
Ala Baxter with a clearing kick for Williamstown. She'll send it towards the broadcast side of the ground. Stepnell can pick it up. She drops the ball. Umpire calls play on. Ashley Cooper will jump in there for the Bombers, get the hand pass across back. It'll be picked up by Cleland, who debuted last week for Williamstown. Ball just going back and forth between plenty of players from both sides. Chasing after it will be Crook for the Bombers, and she'll be able to get it away to Caruso. And Caruso might be able to put the Bombers on a little bit of a run here. It'll be taken by Manfrey, who sends it back towards Caruso into the middle, and the Bombers will get an inside 50. It's just dribbling forward in there, though. It's not a clean one. So Williamstown should be able to get it here through Bridgewater and just push it out. And the ball will be pushed out into the centre of the ground. But again, it's going to ping-pong straight back the other way, with the ball able to be picked up by Tasman Crook of the Bombers. She's taken down in a tackle. And still Williamstown progress, and they'll try and see how far they can go forward as they go through the centre square.
Sophia McCarthy had it momentarily. Umpire comes in and says holding, free kick going the way of the Seagulls.
Stepnell one-on-one deep. Got to go quick.
And they have it on centre wing. No, she's waiting for the cavalry to push downfield. And now she'll go with the long kick towards the half-forward flank position. Was trying to get at the back. Stratford kicked it off the carpet, went over the head of Stepnell. Marshall chasing after the ball. She's going to get there first. Alexa Soccer it off the ground instead of going to pick it up. Kendra Hall is going to go in there. She goes to Soccer. Ended up on the Kuiper pass, if you don't mind. Going in there was Clellan. Clellan with the football. She has to go back in again, Clellan. Maybe she's being held without it by Doonan. Umpire says it's fair. And I should say it was Doonan with the kick earlier and not Heil. Going through the legs there of a Bombers player who's under all kinds of pressure, and Crooker gave it back there to Marshall. Marshall with the hand pass over the top to Ugle. Ugle says stuff this and clearing it out of defence with one long kick. She looks for McIntosh. Ball just bounced away from her. Biden-Webb-Webster read it best, then lost control of it like it was a piece of soap. McIntosh, like a ninja from out of nowhere, spoiled it out of her hands, and the ball went over the boundary line and out of bounds.
That was well done there from Cecilia McIntosh. It was basically a 2-on-1 situation. The Essendon forwards weren't pushing up to cover that spare wall that Williamstown have employed outside of that forward 50. So to have her cause a stoppage, that's great footy.
It was a tense few minutes there for the Bombers defence. Probably one of the first times they've really been tested today. A few interesting decisions to kick it along the ground, but they've just got it out of that 50 here. But the ball will be coming back in for Williamstown. Will it stay in? It will. It'll bounce over the line. So there'll be a throw-in in the Williamstown pocket.
Can I say old habits die hard? Because the two players that kicked it off the ground, one was a former college soccer player, the other is a Gaelic footballer.
Yeah, I was going to say, and it was a proper, as I always found, because I played a bit of soccer in my time, If you do side foot it in footy, it can go a very, very long way. Too many people employ the toe poke and it skews off the side of the boot. It was quite well done. Good technique, although not the falling over.
Tripodi able to grab it out of that stoppage. She'll send it forward. It's up to Crook now for the Bombers. If she can stop this ball from going any further, she lays a strong tackle. But there will be another stoppage, and it's a ball up, and it'll be in a very good position now for Williamstown to score.
As the umpire throws it up, 20 metres out from goal. Stepnell will do the ruck work. Took it immediately out of the ruck, caught by Cornish. And the umpire says, you are gone. You had prior opportunity. And a free kick going the way of the pasty. Eleanor Cornish, she's got it. And she elects to go short with the kick. No, it works out okay.
What's the distance, Pete? 10 or 15?
I think it's now 10. I've got to remember to read the rules.
That was 11.
Eloise Ashley Cooper now goes short with the kick. And she manages to spot up Mariana Anthony. And she has the ball. It'd be nice if I actually read up on the rules before the start of the season.
Oh, they change them that often.
Yeah, sorry, I'm doing my best Brian Taylor. As it's now taken away by Anthony and decides to go with a dangerous switch of play, looking for Danielle Marshall. Marshall on the right boot. It opens up on the wing on the broadcast side for Hole to run onto. She can read the ball. She does. She's got Sarah Ford with a paddock to work with. Sarah Ford goes for a run, doesn't elect to bounce, kicks it towards Mia Ray Clifford, who marks 55 metres out from goal. Half forward flank, kicking towards the Bullant Hill end. Gets on the right boot, goes towards the hotspot, 20 metres out from goal. It's Manfrey that had it and went through her hands. Brody Kennedy's going to clean it up, though, for the Seagulls. Kennedy kicks it into dangerous space. Mark taken by Kendra Heil. Recruited originally out of the Hamilton Wildcats in AFL Ontario. Played at the Eastern Devils and was for a year on the Collingwood AFLW list. Now goes and works it wide and finds Sarah Ford for the Bombers.
So Sarah Ford's looking inside 50. She spots up a target. She points her finger and she sends it long. Is she able to find anyone? Not quite. She's got a few teammates running onto the ball, though. Turning around and kicking it was through.
What a hit.
Finds Manfrey. She couldn't hold on to the mark. Would have been well done if she could, but she can still gather and hand pass the ball out the back to Anthony. So the Bombers retain possession. They've gone back outside 50, though, so making things a little bit difficult. But again, Nicole Julian can send it forward, where the mark wasn't quite taken there by Stepnell of Williamstown. Looked like she was going to get that intercept mark.
That's holding the ball, surely.
Well, the umpire will come in, blow his whistle, and will pay the free kick the Bombers' way. So Mia Ray Clifford wants it, but she's going to be forced to give it back to McIntosh.
That was a great tackle from McIntosh. Pinned the arm really, really well and just didn't allow that Williamstown player to just get a clean disposal.
What are you kicking from here, Doc? You going the snap or sticking with a drop punt?
I've always been pretty traditional, Dan. I'd go the drop punt.
Looks like it'll be the drop punt.
So McIntosh has already got 5 goals this season. And she pops it on her boot, and she was not missing that one. Cecilia McIntosh, it's the Bombers' 4th of the day, the first of the second term. 4-3-27. They're leading Williamstown, who, despite all that pressing, still haven't got on the scoreboard.
It's fascinating. It's a fascinating statistic here. Essendon have had 19 marks so far. Williamstown yet to register 1.
Wow.
It's a credit to how Williamstown want to try and play the game. They want to try and have that manic surge in numbers mentality, but right now they're just not employing those numbers.
And the first rebound 50 of the game as well, Doc. So Essendon able to take the ball from their defensive 50 into their attacking 50 and through 5 or 6 marks, as you say, making up some of that 19. They moved the ball really, really nicely, and Williamstown really caught on the hop in transition.
We might go down boundary line with John O'Ven.
Weather conditions down here have changed almost dramatically. It's changed from terrible and overcast to just a bit overcast to swirling winds. Just about it. The ground's dried up, and tell you what, we're set for a great game of footy for the rest of the game.
Eloise Ashley Cooper takes it off the half-back line here for the Bombers. Comes in board, finds Sarah Ford. Ford elects to work it wide, and that's what she does to the opposite wing. Guess who again? Kendra Heil, who goes for a run. Heil gets on the right boot, goes towards the half-forward flank with a long kick. Whiting put the hands up to spoil it away from McIntosh. Ball on the deck, 2 versus 2. Umpire comes in, says holding. Free kick going the way of the Seagulls. And it's Shani Whiting that has it. Was originally on Carlton's AFLW list, coming out of Williamstown. Spent a year at West Adelaide in the Sandful W. Now kicks it up towards the centre wing position. Getting back there, Eloise Ashley Cooper had it momentarily. Dropped it, has to go back in again. Hand pass away, stripped out of her hands by Laurie Stepnell. Clellan was there as well. Sasha Long jumps in for Williamstown, wraps up her opponent, and the umpire says no prior opportunity, and we'll call for a ball up. If you've just joined us, Essendon 4-3-27. Williamstown get to score.
So McIntosh's goal there came at the 8.5-minute mark, almost identical to Clifford's in the first term when the Bombers started their run early in that first quarter. So it'll be interesting to see if the Bombers can push on now and gather another couple of goals as the ball just sits alongside the half-back line, though, for Essendon.
Oh, she's hatching that.
It's about 4 players all jumping on top of the footy.
On the ball.
So holding the ball will go the way, the free kick, will go the way of Elsa Mangan for Williamstown. So she'll take that kick from about 55 metres out. She'll look to just pop it up and see who can take the grab. Getting front position there was McCarthy. She wasn't able to hold on to it. Williamstown have still got possession. And there was Tripodi.
Oh, that's a goal!
It'll just go towards goal. It's just slinked along the ground. It slid, and Ali Cleland has another goal, her second in the competition. Just came off her boot, using probably that moisture that's on the ground. And it's gone towards goal. Williamstown with their first score of the day, and this time it's a major. They're still trailing, though, by 21 points, 4-3-27 to 1 straight 6.
It's interesting that goal happened, because I was actually thinking that nobody's at the goal, nobody's hanging back at the goal square either for Williamstown or for Essendon. So I think you look at that. That's just poor defensive structure from Essendon, but a great finish from Ellie Cleland. Just quick thinking, a good soccer off the deck. That's what you want, Dan?
Absolutely, and the reason this one's levelled up a fraction is around the clearances in this quarter. Williamstown 6-1, so they've really squared the ledger there, although Essendon will get the takeaway here.
And Radford tipped it to herself, got it back, got spun around, got the hand pass, looking for Zenchetta, was tipped away from her, so she had to try and set herself. Ducked around, just got rid of the kick as she was being brought down to ground, and the umpire said it was fair. Williamstown again with the ball. Lawrence trying to get a hand pass out while under pressure. Now Nelda off the side of the boot. It goes sky high. High from behind, punch the ball down. Again, Seagulls under pressure off the half-back. One stepping kick by Bridgewater in towards the middle of the ground. And Eloise Ashley Cooper will watch on as Morecambe lays attack and will call for a ball up and get some thoughts from Daniel Hill.
Yeah, they've just looked a little better, Williamstown. The one handball, one kick, sticking to the structures, and they're just managing to repel Essendon at the moment. This is a good period of play for them.
Sarah Ford took the roving work there, and she kicked it out into open space between centre wing and the half-forward flank for the Bombers. McIntosh is coming. McIntosh gets her opponent in Bidenweg-Webster, but Bidenweg-Webster got the hand pass off to Whiting in the nick of time. Whiting very close towards the boundary line with a kick. Eleanor Cornish had it, got kicked away from her. Kawa comes in, immediately wrapped up there by Courtney Ugle. And the umpire just circling, allowed it to go on. And just as the ball popped out, he had blown the whistle to say, I'll take the ball back and I'll ball it up.
It's a good tackle there by Ugle to cause the stoppage as the umpire balls it up very close to the boundary line where it's just taken over. So we will have a boundary throw in front of the fans that have gathered here at the hangar. They like to sit on that hill on the outer side of the ground.
Interesting stat. Last year, Williamstown were actually third in clearances behind Collingwood and Geelong.
That's a very fascinating stat. And they're showing it again, their strength around the clearances. I think they're plus 5 around the clearances. Essendon obviously have won the last couple, but I think their clearance work, as you've said, Dan, a couple of minutes ago, has been sensational.
So the ball will just be sitting going inside 50 now for Williamstown. It sends it forward. It'll be some tough work done there by the Bombers' defence.
Gone. Great tackle.
But a sensational tackle, it's a free kick. The tackle went against Crook, and it went to Taylor Danuccio,
who led the competition in tackles in 2019.
And she's rewarded for this right now. She'll just take the kick from outside 50. She looks like she's going for distance, and she is. She might be able to spot up her teammate. She was looking for McCarthy, who couldn't hold on to it, bumped off it at the last minute. The ball will fall to ground. It's the Essendon defence under pressure here. It's tough, desperate stuff. Running onto it will be Nelda for the Bombers. She's able to reach down and put some hands on it and just pushes it. But it could be a chance for a goal here for Williamstown. Not quite. Goes across the face. And the Bombers have got space along this broadcast side of the ground to go.
Kendra Hale kicks it, trying to put it to the advantage of Manfrey, but it's 2-on-1, and the numbers are favouring the Seagulls. Sarek, like a true ruck, was a bit clumsy with it. Ball is kicked forward, intercepted by Tierney for the Bombers, who got it to Ford. Ford's hand pass really went into no man's land. Manfrey couldn't quite get onto it. Having it there is Bridgewater, who got spun around, lost control of it. Bridie Kennedy jumped in for support. Hurry kick, though, by the Seagulls will go up the line, but straight onto the chest of Jordan Zenchetta. Zenchetta sees Radford, tries to put it to her advantage. It's an awkward bouncing ball. She's got Long on her hammer. She thought, am I going to pick it up? Am I going to kick it? She was in two minds. When she did go to pick it up, Long went with her, and it got all wrapped up, and the umpire says, I'll take the pill back. And I'll ball it up 60 metres out from the Bombers' goal. They lead 27-6 over the Seagulls.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry, Laura. I just thought it was a terrific kick, as Dan said. Just not getting that clean disposal. I think it sort of hurt the Bombers this quarter.
So the dying stages of this second term, the ball bounces favourably into McIntosh's hands. With the ball now will be Radford for the Bombers, who'll push it forward. Was she able to find a mark? Yes, she was. So Radford just with a kick off the cuff. And she's able to find Frederica Few.
Federica Frew.
So
6 last week.
Yeah, I was going to say fresh off a 6-goal bag. And that's another strong contested mark inside 50. Williamstown have got to try and find a way to stop that.
So Frew never really has any problems finding the goals, and this time is no different. So Frew, with a late goal here for the Bombers in this term, they'll move to 5-3-33 as they take on Williamstown, who just have the one major and a 6.
Yeah, well, again, it's just that contested marking inside 50 that's killing Williamstown at the moment. I don't know whether or not it's lack of body or they're just not focusing on the ball enough, but it's just killing them at the moment, Dan.
Yeah, they just sort of lost the arm wrestle in the last 2 or 3 minutes, and Essendon are able to expand and move the ball really quickly and get some good scores. And no criticism of Federica Frew, but I've never seen anyone who is such an average field kick be such a good kick for goal. She's fantastic in front of goal.
As they're all wrapped up in the middle of the ground, getting rolled over, Jasmine Carwar, the umpire says going nowhere, ball up. For those that are listening to our wolfradio.com stream and watching it via YouTube, we've got the live chat there going in YouTube. If you make a comment, ask a question, we'll respond to it during the halftime break. That's on the YouTube chat. As the kick is long up the line, they were trying to find McCarthy. It was just balled out of her hands. Cleland is going in to try and wrap up Eloise Ashley Cooper. She's like on her like a wheel clamp, and she's done well because it's forced the spoilage. The kick, Nugget, not paid. As Marshall comes through, the sigh of disappointment from our match analysts as it's taken away by Nicole Julian. She goes sky high, looking for Eleanor Cornish. Cornish got Eloise, pardon me, the umpire come in and said, yes, she's being held without it. Eleanor Cornish, you can have a free kick. And Cornish will have it off the half-back flank.
I'll tell you what, I've seen marks paid for less.
I was going to say the old 3 bites of the cherry rule, but that was the right decision. It wasn't a mark.
As it goes up the line, in this occasion, that is a mark. That's Dune, and it goes up the line and just gets away from her teammate Mia Ray Clifford. One bounce over the boundary line. Last disposal rule, that means it's a free kick for the Seagulls.
And for those of us playing at home, Pete, and those of us who haven't done a game for 3 years, it's between the arcs.
Exactly.
Last disposal.
So Wright will take that free kick and she'll send it down the line. And all she does is gain distance from that kick, and she's gained about 15 metres, and it's just gone over the boundary line. And it'll go straight back into the hands of the Bombers. So Williamstown not able to make the most of that last touch rule kick. And we'll see if Anthony can do better with her kick. She sticks very close to the boundary line as well. This time a pack will form, though, which might give the Bombers a chance. Frew's there at the bottom of it, and she is gone.
I think she could hear me. She wanted to give the handball after the average field kicking comment. Williamstown away.
So Wright with the kick, she pushes it forward. Getting her hands up there for the Bombers was Ashley Cooper, but she couldn't do anything with it. Anthony's in there, though, for the Bombers. She's at the bottom of the pack, trying to do what she can with the ball. She's wrapped up in the tackle, though, by Danuccio. And again, the umpire will just come in and ball it up. So the ball just remaining on that outer side of the wing in the dying stages of this quarter, with the Bombers still leading 33-6.
Umpire throws the ball up in the air, immediately came down to ground. Sarah Ford overran it, and they're going to be wrapped up once again for another ball up. Trish says, go girls, good luck. And see Ramsey saying, with a couple of misset shots by the Bombers, she hopes it doesn't come back to bite them later on. That's on the YouTube live chat at the moment as the ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds. This occasion seen over by, I think it might have been seen over by Baxter. And we'll call for the ball in. Sarah Ford was going with her in that contest.
And Doc at quarter time, Brendan Major said, you'll notice that there's been no +1 for Williamstown. He doesn't care if there's 10 Fords. They're going to man up all the +1s.
Well, that's good. That's what you want.
Marianne Anthony tried to get the handball out quickly. Danuccio there. Cleland clicked it off the ground. Bridgewater put it on the right boot. Scrappy kick goes inside 50. Bit of a worm burner, actually, as the siren sounds just as Caruso got rid of the ball. And that will signal half-time here at Windy Hill. And it is Essendon 5-3-33, leading Williamstown 1 straight 6. We'll answer your questions in a moment on the YouTube live chat if you're watching via the VFLW channel. Of course, you may also be listening on WAFradio.com and 89.1 FM at the ground. But some thoughts on that first half from the Bombers and the Seagulls. First with the Doc, then Daniel Hill.
Yeah, well, I think overall you look at the scoreboard, and I think it's fair to say that Essendon have been the cleaner side around the ground. They've on a couple of occasions they've opened up Williamstown beautifully. But it's around the contest and around the clearances that Williamstown have been very, very impressive. They're +5 in clearances, yet to take a mark. So I think it tells me, Dan, that they're trying to keep it low and try and keep the likes of Danny Marshall accountable in defence for the Bombers.
Yeah, well, they did have a couple of would-be marks, and they're called to play on for touch off the boot. So in one of those passages of play, with 2 or 3 minutes to go in the quarter. But as you say, they haven't moved the ball really at all, apart from, and we heard it pre-game, it was going to be scrappy, it was going to be chaotic, so that's what we've seen from Williamstown. They've stuck to the game plan. Stepnell into the ruck hasn't quite worked, probably need to leave her forward. But yeah, they just levelled up with Essendon there for probably the first part of the quarter, and then Essendon, probably that superior fitness and experience, just managed to edge their way back on top later in that term. But yeah, this one's far from over. Williamstown can come out and get the first 1 or 2 of the second half, and look, anything's possible.
Well, they'll look at that. They'll look at that game against Darebin in round 1 as a great example that you can come back from against any sort of adversity. And we know, and look, Essendon are no Darebin. Essendon are just a far superior outfit, and that's no disrespect to the Falcons. But they'll have that mentality and that mindset that they can still do it. And I reckon if they can get numbers to the ball at a same pace the way Essendon are doing it at the moment, then I agree it is far from over.
Just some questions here on the YouTube live chat. This was asked by Stephen Duggan. He goes, how many players on this Essendon team could be in the AFLW system with Essendon next season?
Can I ask a follow-up question around Richmond? How many played for Richmond that then got on the list initially and are now no longer on the list? They probably put half of them on initially.
I reckon maybe about a dozen.
And now how many are left?
And they let possibly one of the best ones slip under their fingers, Grace Egan to Carlton.
Yes, well, look, to answer that question, I think there's
probably a dozen.
Yeah, that's probably yeah. There'd be a fair few players at the moment. I've been very impressed with the likes of Sarah Ford, especially in that quarter. Just a terrific tank and terrific ability to link up on the outside. I can see a player like Renee Tierney. I watched her a few weeks ago against the Dogs and was just a beautiful lead-up half-forward sort of operator. They're look, I'm still a bit sceptical on the likes of Mireille Clifford and Cecilia McIntosh, whether or not they can still hang it at the top level. They've been very good all season so far. But look, to answer the question, there's quite a few players. Jordan Zanchetta in that first 5 to 10 minutes of the game looked very, very good on the inside, fast hands, good clearance work. She's another one I can definitely see making that jump back to the AFLW, being next Brisbane.
Yeah, and I think it also comes down to the number factor. So I think you sort of get 6 or 8 in the draft. You're probably going to sign 4 or 5 that you might try and slot into your top 2 brackets if you can get them to come across. Daisy Pearce would be handy. We'll see how that plays out. But yeah, I think just through pure numbers, you're going to have 10 or 12 that have been in your system, and also having those 10 or 12, you can continue to play the same system and slot other people in rather than starting absolutely afresh, which we've seen some teams do and really struggle, i.e. West Coast, i.e. probably St Kilda and alike, and maybe the Gold Coast to a degree. So there's certainly advantages of having your run-in season as they appear to be here in the outfit that they've got, that they're probably going to have that 8, 9, 10, 12 in their side.
And not only is the players we're seeing out here, there's obviously some injured players who may come back. John O'Ven, just picking up the injured list, mate. A few players for Essendon and Williamstown missing. You might want to go through some of those names when people start to put into consideration on how could either side be better out there on the field, but obviously players that we're thinking about consideration for AFLW.
Yeah, so today's injuries for Essendon, well, there's actually quite a few of them. I mean, notably Georgia Nanscowan, who hopefully is going to be back next week. There's maybe 1, 2, I think there's about 6 of them. So, including Eyre, Gardner, McDonough, and Clark there as well. For Williamstown, which is over the other page, well, yeah, they don't have as many, but one of them notably is Paige Nash coming over from Collingwood. The Pies. Unfortunately, did her ACL in pre-season, but yeah, she's definitely got a lot about her that might get her over the line with AFLW. Who knows? Obviously, an ACL injury can set you back, but who knows with Paige Nash.
Before we go to our halftime break, Lauren Borden, what do the goal kickers look like?
Yeah, so the goal kickers, obviously, it's the Bombers leading the way in this one. It's still Mia Ray Clifford with the 2 in that first term. Manfrey with another one for Essendon. McIntosh and Frew each got one for the Red and Black in the second quarter. And Carlton with Williamstown's only goal in the second term.
So at half-time, it is Essendon 5-3-33, leading Williamstown 1 straight 6. We'll be back right after this.
If you're after the most comprehensive coverage on women's football across Australia, then look no further than Rookie Me Central. Formerly Draft Central, Rookie Me Central has news and reviews, podcasts, videos, and much, much more on all the state leagues across the country, including the VFL Women's and NAB League Girls. Find out why everyone turns to Rookie Me Central for their women's football content. Follow Rookie Me Central on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Rookie Me Central.
No business wants to throw money away. But did you know sending resources to landfill can be more expensive than recycling them? Planet Ark's free business recycling service can kickstart your workplace recycling journey, help you find the right recycling solutions, and give you a competitive edge. Join the 1 million Australians using business recycling to keep valuable resources in circulation. Visit businessrecycling.com.au. It's just good business.
Oh, hi, I'm Maria from Sesame Street.
And Elmo's Elmo.
And we're here to talk about driveways. Driveways can be dangerous for children.
Or little red monsters.
So it's important for parents to always watch their children around them.
Yeah, driveways are for cars, not for planes.
That's right, Elmo. Play only in safe places away from driveways because people in cars may not see you.
Elmo sees you, Maria. Tag, you're it.
Oh, here I come, Elmo. Remember, driveways are like roads. Always supervise, separate, and see. Learn more at kidsafevic.com.au.
How often should you wash your hands?
Maybe around 9 times a day. 4?
Like 20?
Maybe twice a day.
Whenever they feel dirty. When should you wash your hands?
After you touch some raw meat and before starting to eat. At the beginning, I wash my hands before preparing food.
How would you rate your knowledge of food safety?
Probably like an 8 out of 10. 6 or 7.
7.5? Learn more at foodsafety.asn.au/food safety training. Food safety, it's in your hands.
Hey.
Hi.
Yo, what's up? We're here for RAD. Here's a simple word of advice.
Don't drink and drive.
If you plan to drink, plan ahead.
Give up the keys.
Either drink or drive. Don't mess around trying to do both.
When you drink and drive, you're risking the life of yourself and the lives of everybody on the road.
It takes a lot of courage to convince a friend not to drive after they've been drinking. But you might just be saving their life.
So if you plan to drink,
plan not to drive.
The average person spends 44 minutes a day thinking about food. At Oz Harvest, thinking about food is a full-time job because we're always looking for new ways to nourish our country and combat food waste and hunger. Every day, we rescue quality surplus food across Australia and deliver it to those who'd otherwise go hungry. And you can help. Every dollar donated to Oz Harvest can provide 2 meals to people in need. Visit ozharvest.org. Thought for food.
Been playing for a while, sweet kicks, 'cause footy makes you smile, sweet kicks football. If you're getting ready for the trials, gotta go the extra mile, sweet kicks football.
Not always hearing that sweet sound when you kick the ball? Need to develop your footwork or explosive speed? Want to take the next step in your footy career? Then you need Sweet Kicks. More info on our Facebook page or go to our website, sweetkicksfootballacademy.com.au.
Gotta go the extra mile, sweet kicks football.
Even when everything is going great, the black dog of depression can sneak up on you. You're not alone. 1 in 7 Australians are feeling just like you. But there is hope available. The Black Dog Institute provides information on diagnosis, treatment and prevention of mental illnesses like depression, bipolar disorder and anxiety. If the black dog is hounding you, visit blackdoginstitute.org.au for real help and support. Black Dog Institute, putting health in mind.
Storms are Australia's most costly natural disaster. Getting prepared now is the best way to protect people and to minimise damage to your property. Keep your gutters, downpipes and drains clear and stash any loose items in yards or on balconies. Trim any trees and branches hanging too close to your house and keep your roof in good repair. For emergency help, call the SES on 132 500.
Stroke can happen to anybody at any age. The best way to help someone is to learn the signs of stroke and know how to act fast. F is for face. Has their face drooped? A is for arms. Can they lift both arms? S is for speech. Is their speech slurred? Do they understand you? T is for time. Call 000. Time is critical. If you see any of these symptoms, act fast. Learn the signs of stroke and you could save a life. Go to strokefoundation.org.au/fast to find out more.
G'day, I'm Michael Caton. The Australian Conservation Foundation's Green Home program is all about saving our environment. A low-flow shower head will save 10 litres. No showering at all will save 20. So when any of my active friends are a bit on the nose, I never judge them, but thank them for doing their bit to save water.
For more information, go to www.acfonline.org.au/greenhome and take action for our future generations. That's acfonline.org.au/greenhome.
What do you listen to while you're waiting for the next VFLW game on Wharf Radio? Do you long for the days when radio stations played music that you knew without being constantly bombarded with ads and by announcers who want to make it about themselves and not about the music? Welcome to GoRadio.live. We're here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, playing the very best music of the past 70 years. You can listen at www.goradio.live or better still, download the free GoRadio.live app for your Apple or Android device. GoRadio.live. It's radio as it should be.
It's women's RC rules. They're doing what they love. They're fast, they're tough, don't mess with them because they can get rough. Are you ready for the challenge? Are you ready for the match? It's the call of the game. It's the VFL Women's Match of the Day. It's the VFL Women's Match of the Day.
Indeed it is the VFL Women's Match of the Day here on WARFradio.com. Delay-free at the ground on 89.1 FM. And you're watching via the VFLW YouTube channel. You've got Peter Holden, Lauren Borden, Alex Doherty, Daniel Hill and John O'Ven with you at the hangar, Melrose Drive in Tullamarine. We've got a lot of people in the chat joining us at the moment. And in fact, boys, because you were talking about people who could make the AFLW list for Essendon, you answered a question from Stephen Duggan. He said a follow-up question to my previous question. Out of who you spoke about, who could have an impact straight away?
Oh, that's a really good question. I mean, Zanketta the one for me, I think, that can make the impact right away. Just, again, a terrific clearance player. Would have learned a lot from her time at Brisbane as well. And look, we can't go without saying Georgia Nanscorn will probably have a say. There's no doubt I think she'll be one of the first signed for the Bombers for 2023. I think she'll, no matter who they might bring in the AFLW, whether it be a Maddie Prasparkas, whether it be a Chloe Malloy, whether it be a Monconti, I think a player like Nanscorn, I think can really help drive that standards of fitness that obviously we've seen from the Bombers the first 3 weeks as good as they have been.
And automatic leadership.
Yeah.
And throw in there as well, hello to Garrick Atkin. He says, go Bombers, you're inspiring my 6-year-old daughter. And Leon reckons that Essendon being Essendon, they'll stick with a large percentage of their current list.
Yeah, look, well, we said it, I think, just before half-time that it's probably going to be maybe 10 or so players that they're going to look at signing, and I think there's been quite a few players that are putting their hand up.
And I can reveal next week's games on WARFradio.com and the VFL YouTube stream. We'll be doing a game of Collingwood taking on, just had a blank there for the moment, I think Port Melbourne.
Yeah, Collingwood, Port Melbourne.
Vic Park. Sunday, considering if this game tracks as it may, who knows, Williamstown may cause the upset from here. But if the pattern does continue and Essendon run this one out, then we'll have next week Essendon versus the other undefeated side. The Southern Saints knocked off Geelong in their game. So we'll be here next Sunday for Essendon and the Southern Saints.
That's going to be a massive game. I mean, the Southern Saints have been just tracking along very nicely.
I should say the Southern Saints are not undefeated, though, because they lost to Carlton.
Yeah,
I
was going to say, we were there at Carlton, weren't we?
Yes, exactly. But they're obviously up there after that big win by 20-odd points against Geelong at Deakin University.
Look, I tell you what, Geelong at Deakin University is not an easy assignment for any team, but for the Southern Saints to come in and take care of that, that's just a massive result.
To get us underway, here's Lauren Borden.
So the Bombers with the lead heading into this second half at their home ground. At the hanger, though, with the clearance is Williamstown. Carla can grab it and send the ball towards her forward 50. She'll be able to spot up a teammate and find a mark. And the ball will be able to progress this way for the Seagulls as they look to get on their way early in this term and see if they can quell what the Bombers have been doing. Beautiful mark there, taken by the acting captain today, Stratford. She took the flat ball. One of the first marks that the Williamstown have taken in this game will be by Stratford, and she'll have a chance now. She'll be kicking from 35 directly in front.
Got the journey in her, you reckon, Dan?
Heavy air ball, gonna be touch and go.
So within a minute, can Stratford put Williamstown in front, not in front, but put them on the board? She can't, because she can't make the distance, which means there'll be a pile on. It'll be stacks on to stop this ball from going any further. The Bombers do it well, and we'll have a ball up a minute into this first term. Williamstown just not able to make the most of that opportunity.
We might need Jono to get the sand bucket out there and repair all divots. He's taking a divot on that shot at goal.
I know down one end there's actually a very bad divot, like right on the goal line. The goal umpire's not too enthusiastic to get down that end of the ground.
It is very golf-like out here at the hangar. It looks like a fairway. She's very green and very flat.
As the ball's thrown up, and immediately we're going to have another stoppage. Tackle being laid on by Nicole Julian. And the umpire will take the football back and restart the play. Deep inside Williamstown's forward half. Ruckwork done by Nelda. And again, straight into another traffic jam. And we'll call for the ball back one more time. Giving it back then. Looks like number 14 in Georges. And Laurie Stephen will try to get on the end of that one. Morecambe's there. Taylor Danuccio went with a hurried snap. Immediately smothered off her boot, though. Rugby maul of players. Tripodi is in there. And the umpire says, one more time, I'll have the football back, and we'll try and restart the play. Morecambe caught with it for the Bombers.
It's the straight jacket tackle from Danuccio. She does not miss.
So desperation from Williamstown, keeping this ball in their forward 50. Again, the ball is wrapped up. The top of that pack there was Doonan for the Bombers. Just keeping that ball, causing stoppages the Bombers. But Williamstown still in a good spot to score if they can do something. But it's Essendon that just keeps piling on. Stoppage after repeat stoppage. Essendon have been able to cause another one. So not letting that ball go any further towards the Seagulls' goals.
They've got their rucker, Lana Sarek, hanging out here in the forward 50 all by herself, just as that spare behind the footy. It's be interesting to see whether or not she can impact the kick out here.
So Stepnell, their other ruck, that was able to see that ball over the boundary line, will have a throw in the forward pocket for Williamstown, right in front of the scoreboard that shows the Seagulls trailing. They might be able to do something here if Kawa can do something from picking it out of the ruck. She can't, so the ball will go the other way. The Bombers with the clearing kick, sending it to the outer side of the ground. Tierney couldn't get there for Essendon, and she'll just watch it go over the line. And the ball will be thrown in centre wing, outer side of the ground. 3 minutes gone in this third term. It's still the Bombers leading 33-6.
Sorry. Almost a carbon copy of the first quarter, where Williamstown were able to hold it in their end for the first 2 or 3 minutes, and then it was all one-way traffic up for that for Essendon. So Williamstown will be trying to keep it down their end.
Sarek won the tap down on that occasion, punched it forward only for the ball to be held up on the Bombers' half-back flank. Hyle was the player that got caught. Got a little nudge afterwards from Sasha Long. Umpire throws the ball up in the air. Nelda and Sarek both missed the ball on this occasion. Long came through, got it over the top to Stratford. Stratford now kicks it towards the top of the square, looking for Stepnell. Went out the back, read best by Morecambe off the pack. And Morecambe kicks it in the whole direction. Ball bounced away from her. Sasha Long picks it up with a little bit of space to work with. Then got crunched as she got her kick away. Went towards the top of the square. Georges is waiting on the outside of the pack. The hand pass to her was not clean. Coming out of nowhere, Doonan, who immediately puts her into the ground. And the umpire says, I'll take the football back, please, and restart the play. 25 metres out from the Williamstown goal, kicking towards the Bullant Hill end. Knocked away there by Simone Nelda. Overrunning it was Eloise Ashley Cooper. Radford was there, dispossessed of the ball. Bombers a chance here. Nelda just gets rid of it in the nick of time. Sarek comes through. Well, that was a one-handed throw if I've ever seen one. And the umpire says, never mind, play on. And the Bombers, yes, Julian kicks it towards the centre square. Ball bouncing out towards the wing position now on the broadcast side.
Good tackle.
Baxter is immediately wrapped up by Mariana Anthony. And the umpire says that's a free kick for the Bombers. And maybe with just a little bit of cramp pulling up from that one, Mariana Anthony.
So Anthony will have the ball here. She spots Zanketta going out wide. That free kick did give the Williamstown defence a chance to reset, though, as Clifford just waits for the ball to come over the head of Wright. She waits a little bit too long, and Ella Baxter can come in there for Williamstown, who has to do the shepherd now and help her teammate out. Allows Cower to get a hand pass away, only as far as Clifford. She tackles as she's being taken to the ground. Again, it's in the hands of Ella Baxter for Williamstown. It was a one-on-one with Zanketta, and the tackle laid will mean that the umpire will come in and throw the ball up right on the paintwork of the half-forward line.
This would be heartbreaking for Williamstown if they give a goal up here.
I was going to say it'd be very disappointing because they've just been very good around the contest for the first 5 minutes, and they've just had nothing to show for it.
So the Bombers were holding possession there until Hosking got involved for Williamstown. It went back to the red and black via the hands of Marshall. She sent it inside 50. It was to the advantage of Davies. She was held without the footy. The umpire let it play on. It's still deep inside the Bombers' forward line. Clifford was there. So was Tierney. It's going towards goals. What can Manfrey do with it? Nothing. She's taken to ground. It'll go close to the boundary line in the pocket for the Bombers. Clifford sees it over the line and will have a throw in the Bombers' forward pocket. 6 minutes gone in the third term.
I tell you what, the matchup between Mia Ray Clifford and Talia Wright has just been amazing to watch. Just true one-on-one footy, and it's just been, you've seen them bump and claw and fight and scrap. It's fantastic football.
Cornish versus Stepnor on the ruck. Both rucks missed it. Ball went to ground. Tackle laid in there by Tierney. Gang tackle with Radford wrapping up Tripodi. Umpire will take the ball back and throw it up 30 metres out from goal. High in the air it goes. One out by Cornish. Tripodi immediately caught by McIntosh. Dispossessed. Ball hit the ground. And Tripodi and McIntosh will scrap for it again. And the umpire says, I have no choice but to take the football back. Essendon 5-3-33. Williamstown 1 straight 6. Here on WARFradio.com. The home of women's footy. Coming through there with a quick kick is Joanne Doonan away to the left-hand side. And registers as a minus score. Essendon 5-4-34. Williamstown 1 straight 6. Let's get some thoughts from Daniel Hill.
Yeah, she's zippy, Donan. When she picks the ball up off the deck, you can see why she'll be very, very good at the Irish sports. And she's got good hand to foot as well. So, yeah, looking good early.
So Bridie Kennedy opts to play on. She gets some distance on that kick. She was looking for Cower, but she couldn't take it cleanly. Still in the hands of Jasmine Cower as she's taken to the ground. And the umpire will come in and throw the ball up. It's just outside the 50-metre arc. So still in the Bombers' attacking zone. Stepnell pushes the ball down. A ferocious tackle there from Doonan was a little too high. So Williamstown are on here. Tripodi had the ball. She sends it across to Danuccio, who can send it maybe towards inside 50. Not quite, because there'll be an intercept mark there taken by the Bombers, which will allow them to again push. The ball falls beautifully into the hands of Sarah Ford. She opts for a clean hand pass out wide. As the ball will just sit here on top of the 50-metre line here. It was a good
Open
passage
space
of play
here
that leads it to Cornish. And Cornish has got players screaming for the ball, running forward for her. She was opting to go for the goal kicker in Manfrey, but the ball was just taken by an intercept mark by Ella Baxter for Williamstown.
And sets it up for Donnell. Donnell has it, deep back pocket. Broadcast side of the ground here at the hangar. Melrose Drive, Tullamarine. Kicks it long up the line. Mariana Anthony copped it in the face after ricocheting off the hand of Marshall. She goes, now she gets the football, gets it on the right boot, kicks up looking for Cornish. It went through her hands. Donnell couldn't quite control it, but managed to tap it to Lawrence. Lawrence goes sky high with the kick. Coming out to try and attack it there was Caruso. Brought it to ground, went for the second crack at it. Georges got bumped off the footy. Ball came out. Bombers ball was Anchetta on the right boot. Now coming inside 50, looking for McIntosh. Meeting the sandwich. He gets squished. Coming through is Donnell. Got it to Tripodi, who went with a grabber kick inside the middle of the ground. Kicked off the carpet by Long. Almost hit the shoulder there of Julian. Ricocheted away from her. Caruso on the bottom of the pack. And the umpire will come in and call for a ball up. We'll get some thoughts on the dock.
I'll tell you what, that last couple of minutes was just sheer manic pressure from both sides. It's great footy. It's great to see Williamstown just try and grind this out. They might not kick the winning score today, but geez, I tell you what, they're certainly going to make Essendon earn their touches now.
Ugle brought down by Stepnell in that contest. Stepnell with a ruckwork again against Cornish. Went through the feet there, got nutmegged. In fact, Stepnell coming in to lay the tackle as Lawrence. And the umpire says we're going nowhere. We'll call for a ball up and get some thoughts from Dan Hill.
The back six for Williamstown have been absolutely exceptional today, and I would not want to run into Bridie Kennedy in a dark alley.
It does feel like
tough.
Does feel like the game has gone up a notch, and that was a tough tackle, which will cause the umpire to come in and throw the ball up. Centre wing on the broadcast side of the ground.
Celia McIntosh got knocked over by Bridie Kennedy. Looked up as if to say, "Who was that?" Got hit by a truck.
So Cornish uncontested in the ruck there for the Bombers. Just punched it away. Doesn't flow to the advantage of her team too much. It'll be hard work instead for Doonan to see what she can do for the Bombers. Ugle will chase it. She gets her hands on Long of Williamstown. Long has the ball and sends across a hand pass to Lawrence, so she's able to just send it out wide. She was looking for some space, and finding that space, though, was Crook for the red and black. She's able to pick it up, and she just sends the ball inbound, tries to get it really into the centre circle of the ground. It'll be Sarek for Williamstown, who tried to do something with it, just knocking it along the ground, but wasn't able to do much with it as the Bombers take possession now, and it's with McIntosh. McIntosh will push it forward into the forward 50 for the Bombers. It'll be a one-on-one, but that might be won by Williamstown, and it was by King. It's stolen by Frew. Frew puts it on the boot. Oh, it nearly went through. The bounce didn't favour her kick, and it'll be just another behind for the Bombers.
Just got an update on Lauren Caruso. She's just in the hands of the physio at the moment. I'll have more to say very shortly.
Thank you, John O'Van. Jump in where you've got that information. 5-5-35 Essendon, 1 straight 6 Williamstown. The kick in from full back from Bridie Kennedy. Kicks it long towards the half-back line broadcast side. Marked almost on the paint there. Intercept marked by Courtney Ugle. Courtney Ugle originally out of Swan Districts in WA. Looking for some options. Was thinking about the pass. Then thinks, I'm going to go long. Looking for Frew. Almost into the breadbasket there of Cecilia McIntosh, who wasn't expecting it. Was expecting Frew to get it and went, oops, it's coming to me. Bounced away from her and went over the boundary line and out of bounds.
Just some clearance numbers here between the Williamstown trio of Jasmine Cower, Ruby Tripodi and Laurie Stepnell. That's 14 clearances between the three.
More clearances than a sail at Forges as the ball is brought down. In goes Mia Ray Clifford, wrapped up by Kennedy. Hurry kick away there for the Seagulls. Was originally by Wright. She managed to wrap up the Essendon opponent in Doonan, who had the football. Umpire blew the whistle and says, going nowhere. I'll take the ball back and call for a ball up 40 out from goal.
An update on Lauren Caruso. She just had it copped a knock to the neck, but she's ready to go. We're about to come on.
Thanks, Jono. So we're 12 minutes gone in this third term. No team able to get a major yet at the moment. Strafford has the ball. She's on the half-back line for her side. She's a long way from her team's goals, and they'll stay a long way from their goals with Caruso coming straight off the bench there, swiping in and taking an intercept mark. So she's got a teammate on here in Doonan who's been playing well this term. Nearly does a split so she falls down. She copped a knock there from Strafford as she went for the mark. So Doonan will have the free kick right in front of her team's bench. And she's not far from her side's forward 50. She opts for the hand pass as the Bombers try and go for a run here. Was Clifford pushed without it?
Held.
So Clifford just used her body well in that situation against Kennedy, and it'll mean that she'll line up now for her third goal of the day.
Strong left to right breeze at the moment, just to consider as Cecilia McIntosh takes a mark and hopefully make use of the left to right factor. But yeah, it is actually quite strong down here towards this particular end of the ground where Essendon's kicking.
There's VFLW's answer to Hall of Notes again, Peter.
So Clifford opts for McIntosh. The dynamic duo combine again. They combined for the very first goal of the day here at the hangar. And McIntosh just looking to put her side a little further in front than it already is. Can she do it by a major? Yes, she can. So Cecilia McIntosh, she gets the first goal of the third term, and she gets her second of today as the Bombers move to 6-5-41. They're leading Williamstown 1 straight 6.
Well, we watched Mia Ray Clifford a couple of weeks ago here against the Dogs, and she gave off about at least three or four of the goals to her teammates. And again, it's just that selflessness that Essendon bring, especially around that forward half. They've just been a thrill to watch over the first month of VFLW footy, and I tell you what, how are you going to try and stop that?
Well, we've got to get the deodorant check on Kendra Heil, because I don't think there's been any opposition player within 15 metres of her in this game. And Donan did really well to release it out wide. And then you get the class of Ray Clifford and also up forward, Celia McIntosh. It's going to be a dynamic duo all season long, you'd think.
Zanchetta out of the middle with a long hand
Heil
pass
again.
to Heil. Heil goes high with a kick. Now to takes umpire says didn't go the full required distance. Had to got a hand pass out while under pressure. In goes Sarah Ford. Got knocked off the ball at the crucial moment. Back to Heil, who went with a hurry kick around the corner. Dribbled it forward to Tierney. Tierney was being tackled but managed to get the little hand pass away. But it went into no man's land. Picked up by Bunweg. Webster went across to Tripodi. Had to pick it up off the deck. Tripodi goes towards centre wing. Melrose Drive side of the ground. Was looking for Cleland. Missed her completely. And it is a Bombers ball. They'll take it and they'll go long towards the half-forward flank on the broadcast side. Ford bumped away by Bunweg Webster. Now going in there, Ford again will lay the secondary tackle, wrapping up Kawa. And the umpire says it's a stalemate. I'll take the footy back.
Is it the best name in the league, Pete? Gabrielle Bonweg Webster? Have we locked that in?
It sounds like a brand for a dictionary, as the ball is now once again given away a free kick to Essendon. That has Radford who gets the resulting free kick. And Radford has the footy at about 60 metres out from home on the half-forward flank. Decides to go long with a kick to the hot spot. Mia Ray Clifford was running for it, but parked underneath it was Donnell, who didn't have to budge an inch.
Good
landed
courage,
right in her
though.
chest.
Good courage. You stood under that for a very long time.
Very well done by Scarlett Donnell, who'll send a clearing exit out of the 50, but it'll be up to her teammates now to work hard to get the ball away from this danger zone. It was a nice clearance there from Cleland to get it away. The ball will sit alongside the half-forward line for the Bombers for a little longer than Williams would have liked until Kawa can grab the ball. She'll send the ball inside to the centre circle where a teammate will take the mark. And Williamstown might choose to reset here. It's Mangan who's directing her traffic to go far, but her kick doesn't go more than 2 metres because it's smothered after she's kicked it. Nice recovery from Lawrence, who's able to help her side out and just get that ball right after it was smothered. But it didn't matter because the damage was done, and it'll be Morecambe now with a free kick for the Bombers, and she'll be able to send her side forward. And Essendon will look to move quickly here. They've got numbers ahead of the footy. Tierney's in there and she can punch it as she goes up against Biden-Webb-Webster. But Biden-Webb-Webster wins out. She'll have to sidestep her opponent. She just does it, and she's able to put the ball on her right boot, gain some distance. But again, it could be an intercept mark taken by the Bombers here, which will again send the ball straight back that other way as Essendon continue to hold a sizable lead. And it's Morecambe with the footy. He looks to try and spot up Radford, and that's what she does in front of Cleland. Morecambe for Radford for the Bombers. Centre wing. Melrose Drive side of the ground, furthest from our broadcast position. Gets on the right boot, goes long towards the half-forward flank, looking for Nelda and finds her. It popped out of her hands, but the Bombers did get the advantage by getting a quick kick around inside 50. The soccer skills off the carpet. Jessie Davies, ball's well away from her, and the ball will go over the boundary line and out of bounds. They'll reset play, and we'll get some thoughts from Daniel Hill.
So that's their sixth inside 30 for Essendon in this term. So they started off 0-4, and they've again worked their way back into the contest. Still getting smashed in the clearances. Let's see what they can do with a stoppage inside there and tacking 50.
And it's going to be Nelda versus Sarek in this contest. Sarek wins it down. Bridie Kennedy tries to go in and lay the tackle immediately on Doonan. In goes McIntosh. She wraps up Kawa, and the umpire says no advantage, and we'll call for a ball up.
So we'll have another ball up. There's 2 minutes remaining in the third term. Still the Bombers leading by 35 points. So 6 goals for Williamstown to make up. Jasmine Kawa's been impressive, though, for the Seagulls, despite the margin that they're facing at the moment. She got the clearance, and it'll be her teammate, though, that gets the free kick a little further up the field, and it'll go the way of Mangan.
Back.
So Mangan had a kick in a very similar position, kicked it straight into the person on the mark. This time she gets it over the head of Nicole Julian without too many problems. Goes straight into a pack, though. Stepnell's got it. She's pulled down in the tackle.
That's
and
hot.
She has been called incorrect disposal of the ball, or holding the ball, rather. So the Bombers will push forward here. They waste no time in doing this. Running after the ball inside the 50 will be Tierney. She can turn around, swivel around, send it on the right boot. She didn't really look where she was kicking, though. Just tried to get it away, and jumping in there was Alabaxa, who's been strong in defence for Williamstown. She might be able to get it across to Kawa, who'll have to chase after her own hand pass again, as she opts to try and get her side out of this dangerous zone. And they're able to do it. They're just outside the 50, but again, there's some intense pressure here from the Bombers. It'll send that ball straight inside their forward 50. Geez, Davies just not able to hang on to that one for the Bombers. All players surrounding the ball. It's a tough ball here, and it's the Bombers are pressing, and they're trying to do something with it. But again, Donnell doing her best for Williamstown. Might be able to just push it out. She can go as far as Danuccio, who couldn't hold on to it. And again, the Bombers will see what they can do with the play just going outside, going between these plays here as Essendon, they go with a string of hand passes to see what they can find. McIntosh was there. She can't hold on to it. She goes for the second effort. She could have been taken high, maybe not. Anthony with the kick away to the goal square. How far can it go? It can go only into the arms of Biden-Webster. Last line of defence will save a score here for Williamstown.
So Biden-Webster looks around and elects to go broadcast side. Goes for a bit of a run before putting boot to ball. Looking for Sarek, dropped it. Federica Frew is immediately wrapped up, and the umpire says too high. Your thoughts, Dan Hill?
Well, that would have been holding the ball, but the hand did slip up at the end. It was one of those, complete the tackle. You have to complete the tackle.
She'll be kicking after the siren. Alex Doherty, you've seen Federica Frew kick 6. Does she kick this one after the siren?
Geez, it's going to be very tough from about 45 out, Pete. You got to go the barrel, surely.
So she's already got 1 goal to her name, looking to add a second for this afternoon.
No barrel here, I think.
Federica Frew winds up, tries to unload. It will fall short and gets punched away to the safety of the boundary line. So no score, and at three-quarter time, it is Essendon 6-5-41, leading Williamstown 1 straight 6. John O'Ven will be going out to listen to what Brendan Major has to say in the Essendon huddle. But when you look at the scoreboard, okay, yes, frustrations for Williamstown for all that work they didn't add to the score, but at the same time, the Bombers didn't exactly run away with it.
No, not at all, Pete. You look at just how defensively Williamstown have set themselves up, both around the contest and inside their defensive 50. I think they've actually, we talked about earlier in the game about how they employed the spare and they weren't exactly making that impact, but I could feel that impact in that third quarter. They've been intercept marking. They've been trying to rush the ball over. I tell you what, one player that I think's really stood out for the Seagulls today has been Biden-Webster, just trying to take the game on every chance she can, and it doesn't come off every time. But you got to encourage that as Penny Cula-Reid, and I think looking at how she has. Looking at how she sets herself up around the ground, it's been very, very good.
Yeah, well, she's probably leading the game. A stat they don't keep, don't argues. Broken tackles, but they have taken the game on. I think that's absolutely key, Doc. If you give that first handball and sort of take yourself out of the play, and they can block you off. But if you beat the first player, then give the handball, then get it back, you can open things up. So I think that was definitely the change in emphasis for the third quarter. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, but if you're going to, risk and reward, you might as well try and get yourself back into the contest. That's how they try to do it. As we heard pre-game, they've put some of their real movers and shakers on the back flank off half-back to try and rebound. And look, it's been fairly effective.
Yeah.
And I think in that quarter, six inside 30s to 7, pretty balanced quarter, same as the second. Couldn't put it on the scoreboard, but the scoreboard certainly doesn't reflect the quality of the contest.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of the tackle numbers here, Tripodi leads all comers for the Seagulls with 9. Danuccio 6, been very, very good up forward for them. Danuccio.
She's done judo or something for sure.
I'd back that in. I'll tell you what, Madison Lawrence. So we talked about her being the late inclusion, the 5 tackles. So she's been getting them in amongst it defensively as well, and I've been very impressed with just how they've situated themselves just around the contest today.
It's amazing the level change. There's probably been 4 or 5 times clearing from a stoppage on the spread where she sort of looked around and realised that her opponent's 20 metres away from her in a flash and gone, okay, that's what this level looks like.
Let's get some goal kickers at three-quarter time with Lauren Borden.
So just the 1 goal in that third term went to Cecilia McIntosh. It was her second for the day. She's joined Mia Ray Clifford as the dual goal kickers for the Bombers. Manfrey with 1 as well, and as does Federica Frew.
Federica Frew. I had family during the week saying, guys, don't say Federica. Federica
Frew. So Federica Frew.
Hello to Caitlin Frew, by the way, listening.
Then Clalland for Williamstown, again, still just that sole goal scorer.
6-5-41 Essendon, 1 straight 6 Williamstown. We'll be back right after this.
Life can be really tough when you or a close family member has cancer. But if you're 12 to 25, Canteen's in your corner. Canteen provides whatever practical and emotional support you need, from connecting you with other young people who get what you're going through, to helping you develop new skills to cope, and just bringing back some fun into your world. So if cancer's messing with your life, check out canteen.org.au. And remember, Canteen's in your corner.
Hi, this is Missy Higgins for RAD, recording artists, actors and athletes against drink driving. I see a lot of things at gigs, mostly people having a good time and a few drinks. But what I'd hate to see is someone getting behind the wheel after they'd been drinking. Being even a little bit over the limit makes it too easy to lose control. So if you plan to drink, plan ahead. Arrange a designated driver who won't drink. Remember, music lives and you should too.
We're at a party. 3 little kids were playing in the pool, all under 5. Adults were busy talking, glanced over, noticed a little one underwater. I think she needs help. That's how easily something can happen. It only takes a few seconds. Don't worry, the party had a happy ending. But we need to remember, fence the pool, shut the gate. Teach your kids to swim, it's great. Supervise, watch your mate, and learn how to resuscitate. I'm Laurie Lawrence. Kids Alive, do the 5.
What do you listen to while you're waiting for the next VFLW game on Wharf Radio? Do you long for the days when radio stations played music that you knew without being constantly bombarded with ads and by announcers who want to make it about themselves and not about the music? Welcome to GoRadio.live. We're here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, playing the very best music of the past 70 years. You can listen at www.goradio.live or better still, download the free GoRadio.live app for your Apple or Android device. GoRadio.live. It's radio as it should be.
It's the VFL Women's Match of the Day.
41-6, Essendon leads Williamstown. Here's the final quarter, and here's Lauren Borden.
So it's Essendon running away with this match. They're 35 points up as we head into the final term. So the Bombers well on their way for the 4th win of the season. At the moment, it's a question of how much. They're holding possession still as the ball restarts play. The umpire restarts play. Cornish was able to send it forward, grabbing the ball there. If it was Doonan, who's had a strong game, she'll send it inside the pocket. The Bombers kicking to the left-hand side of your radio dial. And the ball will just peter along there and it'll be a throw-in. So a good result for the Bombers early in this term.
Let's get some thoughts quickly from John O'Ven down on the boundary line. You were listening to Brendan Major.
Yeah. Brendan Major said that they knew that Williamstown were going to come at them in the third quarter. It's just time to make smart decisions and use the ball really well by foot. I tell you what, Mia Ray Clifford is very much fired up for this final term.
And Ellie Clallan delivers the ball long, looking for Laurie Stepnell, who's got Julian on her hammer. Stepnell still going. Managed to get an awkward hand pass away, but only as far as Morecambe. Then comes Clallan again. Morecambe over the top of the ball. Seagulls balls. They almost try to get it out to Tripodi. Try to get the kick away while under pressure from Marshall. Inglo's Clallan. Hands and knees type of stuff. Can't extract the football, and the umpire will take the pill back and call for a ball up. Some quick thoughts from Daniel Hill.
Yeah, I think that's where Stepnell, she took possession too early, then just had to keep knocking that forward and gain ground for Williamstown, but decided to take possession. Now there's a ball up on the wing.
Joanne Doonan tries to get a awkward-looking spinning ball kick around the corner, and the umpire says that's holding the ball against Mariana Anthony, and it will be a Seagulls free kick. I think it's with Donnell that it's ended up with. Now they go long towards the half-forward flank on the Melrose Drive side of the ground. Marshall led her opponent out towards the ball, bumped another one off the side of it, and Stratford said, get out of my way. Hand pass over the top now to Cornish. Cornish came back, was the hand pass, managing to use the agency of Caruso. Caruso now finding Doonan. Doonan goes long up towards the centre wing position and tries to find Frew. Federica Frew with the football, centre wing. Gets on the right boot. It's an awkward kick. It's like you said about the field kicks, Dan. And the ball went over the boundary line and out of bounds. Lasso! And a free kick to Williamstown.
Jono's run out with the sand bucket again.
So it'll be Williamstown just sitting on their half-back line right on the 50. They'll opt to use this outer wing and see what they can do as they pull it down. In there, though, was Caruso just trying to cause a bit of a contest. And it'll be the Bombers who are able to push forward here. Ball will bounce forward towards another 2-on-1 again. It's just playing on the bottom of the ground, and Williamstown will be able to opt and get this ball and send it into the centre square. They can't hold it for too long though, because it'll be Julian of the Bombers who's able to take an intercept mark, but she doesn't get it very far. So again, this pressure from Williamstown, they're just holding it in the centre of the ground, and they'll hold it there again with a nice tackle there from Stratford, I think it was, who's dived on her opponent and will have a throw in right in the centre square. As the umpire restarts play, Cornish going up there against Sarek in the ruck. The ball again not moving too far until Stratford can get her hands on it. She just threw it on the boot and tried to see how far she could get it, but there was plenty of traffic ahead of her. So it just stopped where it was, and we'll have a repeat stoppage. It's still the Bombers leading by 35, 3 minutes into this final term.
Ball up in the air again, one out by the Seagulls. Zanchetta was trying to find her way through. King there as well. And all locked up. Umpire comes in and call for a ball up. And we'll get some thoughts from the doc.
Yeah, well, we talked about earlier about how Essendon would try and cover that loss of Georgia Nanscorn this week, but I've been really impressed with Joanne Doonan, just trying to take the game on. Her work around stoppages has been very, very critical. And I think, look, you look at the depth that this Essendon VFLW midfield has, it's almost top of the heap.
Zanchetta kicks up towards the centre wing position, bounced away by Heil. Now using Radford, who managed to get it to Zanchetta, who had to get rid of it quickly. They scream for holding the ball against Mariana Anthony. Joanne Doonan comes through with a lovely looking kick. Managed to find Radford, but it wasn't the required distance. Hand pass along the carpet, picked up by Mariana Anthony. Mariana Anthony now going towards the half forward flank, looking for Frew to run onto it. 48 metres out from goal. Alex to go with a screw kick that works out beautifully and finds Renee Tierney, whose Aunt Di is watching at this very moment on the VFLW YouTube stream.
I tell you what a delightful pass from Federica Frew to Renee Tierney. It must be the inside 50, Dan. Anytime she gets around that, the foot skills just turn up by tenfold.
She certainly has a goal sense.
Renee Tierney, 20 metres out, very tight angle, and gets it.
What a kick.
Goal umpire didn't move. Tierney with her first goal of the afternoon, and Essendon now move out the lead to 7-5-47. Williamstown 1 straight 6, and here's Daniel Hill.
Good to see the girls going against the grain. No sense of a snap there on a very, very tight angle. Went with a drop punt and no dramas whatsoever. John O'Breeze, is it drop down or up in the ivory tower? I can't feel it.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's sort of been going on and off throughout the whole day. I mean, there are patches where the wind seems really strong, but in the last maybe 30 seconds to a minute, didn't really feel that present.
And the post-game food for Essendon's just arrived as well. They're going with tacos by the look of it.
Interesting. I wouldn't mind that, to be honest, on a Saturday afternoon.
Jono, they're coming past. Jono, just quickly grab one.
So the margin last week, the Bombers won by 41 points. They'll be looking to build... Sorry, they won by 42 points last week. They're currently 41 points up as they look for another big win in this season, this VFLW season. Again, the ball will be thrown in that forward pocket just in front of the scoreboard here at the hangar.
They'll be keeping their percentage in the 600s.
They have a very impressive percentage, the Bombers, after 4 games. And they might be on here again. The umpire will find a free kick as he found it the way of the Bombers, and he has. So Jessie Davies will get a free kick. She'll be very close to home here for the Bombers.
I think
it's going to be 50 too.
Mia Ray. Yeah, it's going to Mia Ray.
So the ball going to Mia Ray Clifford. So Davies and Clifford around the ball when the umpire blew his whistle. And Mia Ray Clifford would not miss this 99 times out of 100.
Oh, let's check those first 2 steps, though. We've got to make sure they're a solid first 2 steps.
Yeah, the way up.
So, skipping.
Mia Ray Clifford from directly in front. This ball goes straight
Never in doubt,
through
Dan.
the middle.
Never in doubt.
Mia Ray Clifford's third of the day, and geez, the Bombers move to 47 points ahead here against Williamstown, who have just got the one major on the board.
I just want to take back to that clearance there from Sarah Ford. No Williamstown player just neglected to just give her any defensive attention. And if you even want to go further, Jordan Zanchetta just running out of the centre bounce, just nobody anywhere near her. I mean, that's just champagne football at the moment for Essendon. And look, I tell you what, that percentage might even get a significant raise if they keep going.
Yeah, it was Zanchetta. She's had her own footy in the last 5 minutes. Clearly the best on ground for mine at the moment. She's been fantastic.
Umpire throws the ball up in the air. One out by Nelda, who brought the ball to ground. And trying to work the way through there was Button, where Webster get a hand pass out to Laurie Stepnell, who gave it off. Now kicked up towards the half forward flank for Williamstown. Chasing after it is Magan. If she can get there in time, manages to hold it up for the cavalry to arrive. And this will see a reset of play just inside the boundary line, 60 metres out from goal.
Cornish very sore down there, Jono. Caught one in the shin.
Oh, so I'll have to say about that. It looks like she's running off here as well. So, cool. I'll have more to say.
Thank you very much. That's Jono. Obviously more to say. As Stepnold gets a hurry kick around the corner, going towards the half-forward flank position. Almost swallowing the football there as George has got knocked out of her hands. Courtney Ugle cleans up there. Thank you very much. Now across to Radford. And Radford wants to come inboard with the kick. Not all that flash button where Webster put the hands up, but it was spoiled away from her by Manfrey, who now kicks it towards the half-forward flank for the Bombers. The ball sits awkwardly for Frew, who came charging out there. Bodenweg-Webster bounced off the pack like a pinball machine and lost control of it, then had to go back and get her own football because she was trying to find Lawrence. Now trying to cut her way through as Bridgewater. Low trajectory kick as it goes up the line about 25 metres. Bumped off for Eloise Ashley Cooper. The kick up the line by the Seagulls was courtesy of Georges. Goes inside 50, but getting back there for the Bombers is Danielle Marshall. She's got the switch on here, and this is where she spots up Courtney Ugle.
So Ugle will get it, and she'll be able to send a hand pass across the way to her teammate, who sends a kick straight forward in front of her. She was looking for Doonan. Doonan couldn't mark, but she can go back and get this one. Does well to get the hand pass away. Bombers under plenty of pressure here. Ugle, can she pick it up?
Spin.
She turns and she spins and she gets it across to Morecambe, who's had plenty of the ball in these last few moments. Morecambe sends it forward past Radford. It'll go near Davies. Davies will tussle with her opponent on the ground to see if she can get the ball back. It'll still stay in the hands of the Bombers. Ugle gets it out. She'll bring it towards Ford, who'll send it to the centre of the ground, but Ford copped a bit of a push there and will get the free kick.
That's a big couple of minutes there from Courtney Ugle. A great contested ball there and just trying to initiate that switch, Dan.
Yeah, and downfield free kick as well, and right decision by the umpire. But yeah, she was in everything there, Ugle, and now it's back to Zanchetta, but they've been prolific in the final term.
So Tierney just opted to get it to Zanchetta in the middle of the ground, and she'll keep it in this centre square, and she'll go into the hands of Eloise Ashley Cooper, who'll go out wide, but she has a teammate on here in Julian. Julian was in so much space, and she'll just opt for a short pass. Doesn't hit her teammate on the chest, though, so it'll be the Bombers left with a little bit of work to do, and Williamstown with a chance to get out of this one, and they might take a stoppage here at the Seagulls, just in the corner of that centre square. They will take the stoppage, with the Bombers still leading by 47 points, and we're halfway through this final term.
Umpire throws the ball up in the air. Away we go again. Stepner wins the tap down for the Seagulls. Hurry kick out of the contest there. On that occasion was by Mariana Anthony. Then McIntosh got it across to Radford. Radford unloaded towards the top of the goal square. It was set up nicely. Good mark back there in the last line of defence. And getting back there was Budenweg-Webster. And she decides to go for a run. Tries to take on Tierney. Gets around her. It goes to the hand pass to herself. I think that might have been maybe 10 more metres than 15, but never mind. Going up the line, trying to find Donnell. Taken there by Julian, who gives it across to Ford. Ford on the right boot. Now sets it up and taking the mark, Federica Frew, who points back at her and says, thank you.
It's the right idea by Budenweg-Webster, but that was the handball solo. Handball to no one and went back and got it.
Jess, I'll tell you what, there's been a couple of runs today from Budenweg-Webster, just biting off a bit more than she can actually chew. I reckon that one went about 20 metres before she decided to handball it.
Federica Frew has a shot for goal. How does it sail? It sails long and it sails through. She's got two, and the Bombers go to 9-5-59. Williamstown, one straight, 6 here at the hangar in Tullamarine. Some thoughts with the doc, then Daniel Hill.
I'll tell you what, that pass from Sarah Ford, that just goes to show what sort of vision she brings to this Essendon team. The fact that she can pick out a teammate on the 45 coming through, that's something that you can really bring to the AFLW team next year, Dan. And the finish from Federica Frew, do we need to say anything else?
Yeah, it's class, isn't it? And that's what's risen to the top for the Bombers. Jono, we got an update on Cornish?
Yeah, she appeared to come onto the field pretty much as soon as you put her out. But, yeah, it looks like everything's all good.
She's taped the ankle. She's back in the ruck now.
So the Bombers have already got their third goal of this term, and they'll be looking to add another one. They've got plenty of time to do that. They've got 9.5 minutes left, and they're already leading by 53 points, having just kept Williamstown to one score in the second term, just one straight goal. And it'll be Cornish in the ruck. She taps it down, but it's Williamstown who'll be able to gather the advantage here. Georges was around there for the Seagulls. Running into it will be Long. There'll be plenty of players around the ball. Top of the pack was Cleland, the goal kicker for Williamstown today, and we'll have a throw up just on the half-forward line for Williamstown.
As Maddie Lawrence was just bounding after that one behind the ball and just got knocked over and turned around to look up and say, hang on a minute.
So Lawrence was around there again for Williamstown, but it'll be the Bombers able to go forward here. They opt for the broadcast side through Ugle. She'll send a short kick, which
Good
Davies
hands.
can hold on to it, and she just throws a high ball into the forward 50. It might not be the worst decision by her. She'll need her teammates to run onto it, though, and instead it will be Baxter for Williamstown, rather. She's able to get the ball away, and she'll find the hands of Sasha Long, and Williamstown might be able to get out of trouble here.
Long goes up the line with the kick. Was looking for Bridie Kennedy. Got punched away from her. Clellan roved it well off the pack. Georges with a hand pass over the top. Looking for Serek. Ball bounced away from her, though. Cleaned up there by Crook of the Bombers. Kicks it in towards a one-on-one, the central corridor. Anthony versus Donnell. They all hit the brakes at the same time, and Anthony won out. Anthony goes up the line. Just got away from Mia Ray Clifford. Ball dribbles inside 50, though, just inside the paint. Seagulls will hold it up momentarily, looking for Wright to arrive for offer support. And the umpire says, Bridie Kennedy, you're going nowhere. You're caught by man-free. No opportunity. And we'll call for a ball up. 45 metres out from the Bombers' goal. Kicking towards the Bullant Hill end, left of screen. Going through there, Zanchetta has it. Weave through the pack. Hand pass backwards to Marianne Anthony. Then kicks it towards the hot spot, 35 metres out from goal. Mia Ray Clifford comes charging in from the side. May have got her opponent a little bit high. And the umpire comes in and says, no, Ella Baxter, give me back the ball, and I'll try and ball it up once more.
So deep in the Bombers forward 50, the umpire throws the ball out. Nelda will be able to get the tap out for her side, but Williamstown might be able to clear here. Zanchetta does her best to hold it in, just goes through her fingertips though. Getting tackled was Caruso. And Williamstown will be able to move forward through the hands of Georges. So Georges will send the ball through the centre square. Mangan used her body well, but she's got no one ahead of her, so she's just had to kick into space inside the 50. Running onto it was Marshall, who's done well for the Bombers in defence. She was first one for the footy. Beautiful tackle from Strafford. And she's dispossessed her opponent of the ball, and rightly so. Strafford has earned this free kick, and she might just go for home. She sends it on the boot. She tries to see how much distance she can get, but it'll just be a behind for Strafford. So it's Williamstown's first score since the second term. They'll move to 1-1-7 against the Bombers, 9-5-59.
That was very encouraging there by the Seagulls. Just trying to keep the ball moving at every opportunity they can. And I tell you what was Danielle Marshall thinking there? You got to keep your feet there.
Marshall from full back runs to 20 metres and then goes with a big punt. And it's long and over the head of Whiting. McIntosh struggling to pick it up at the moment. Goes again. Gets caught by Whiting. Tries to bring it down the ground. Possibly dropping. Umpire said no. It must have tapped the boot. Went nowhere in the end. It will call for a ball up and get some thoughts from Daniel Hill.
I think Danny Marshall was thinking what a lot of defenders think in situations like that when you're running towards your own goal.
Get it out.
Not my problem.
Kawa now kicks it off the side of the boot. Caruso overran it. Had to go back in again. Strafford going with her. And the ball will go over the boundary line and out of bounds. 9-5-59 Essendon, 1-1-7 Williamstown. Don't forget, right now on the AFL.com.au, stream Collingwood and Hawthorn. We're back on air tomorrow on WharfRadio.com at 9 a.m. to bring you the Carlton versus Port Melbourne match. And our B team, Lucy Watkin and Liam Vertigan at Arden Street at 10 a.m. for North Melbourne and Darebin. As it's kicked away here by Kawa. Inside 50, diving mark. That's in the back as well. No.
They haven't paid that all day.
Should have gone to Specsavers. As the umpire will take the football back and will call for a ball up.
You can't argue consistency. They have not paid that all day. They've done a terrific job today, the umpires.
Throw the football up in the air. Brought to ground. I think Kawa again going through, and this time legged, and we'll get a resulting free kick.
That was the old slide down from the hip. Knee-ish. Umpire was happy enough.
Yeah, Zanchetta just couldn't quite hold on enough, and yep.
She played a terrific in and under game today, Jasmine Kawa. And I think, look, maybe distance a bit beyond her, but gee, she deserves a goal for her efforts today.
Yeah, the leads are on. I think the teammates are telling us that she might not necessarily get the journey, but I think she's going to have a crack. It always helps when Zanchetta's on the mark. She's probably the smallest player on the ground.
Left to right, wins picked up here.
41 metres out. Unusual run-up at it. McCarthy went charging late at it. Strafford tried to get a kick away. She was the meat and the sandwich out of that. No 10 as Drapoti's got it and besieged upon by 3 Bombers.
Oh, great sell. Great sell.
And I tell you what, a few stray hands come around and there's a little bit of let's change insurance details happening there. Who's got third party as Trapodi?
They did not like that one bit, Peter.
Because one Essendon player also copped the whack in the mouth as well, because they hold their mouth going, what are you doing for me? It was hands all round being flung around. I don't think anybody knew who hit who, but they all wanted revenge. Trapodi comes in, from 10 metres out, 45-degree angle, and gets it. She has Williamstown second for the day. They move to 2-1-13. Essendon 9-5-59 here at the hangar in Tullamarine. Again, some thoughts on the dock and Daniel Hill. Well, as we see down the boundary line, John O'Benton, keep an eye on it. I think Radford was the one that copped the whack in the schnoz.
Well,
no worries there.
Well, I just want to say, I think they've deserved at least another goal for their efforts in this second half. I think Williamstown have battled on, but you look at the class difference, and it's chalk and cheese at the moment between Essendon and Williamstown. But, geez, I tell you what, very, very lucky to get away with that free kick.
Yeah, it was one of the classics where the umpire's blindsided, and you might have an arm over the shoulder, and it was smart footy from Japan. Just throw their head back, hope the umpire sees it. And it was a free kick in the end, and a few coming in to remonstrate that weren't happy. That might fire Williamstown up a little bit.
Well, you sure did hear it. The Williamstown fans like that one, and they might be on here again. McCarthy can get the ball. She'll spin, put it on the right boot. It's a one-on-one. Might be the Bombers that win out here. Quick clearing work. We'll send it out by the work of Lauren Caruso, who can just send it to the broadcast side. Mopping up, though, will be Scarlett Denell of the Seagulls. She's taken in a tackle by Ugle. Right in front of our broadcast position here. We'll have a throw up. So the Williamstown supporters, the Williamstown coaches box up and about at the moment. It's been a tough day for them, but there's been some positive signs as the umpire finds a free kick.
Blocking in the ruck. That's one of those unfortunate ones where the midfielder doesn't know where the ruck woman is.
So Cornish has been in the ruck in the last minute or so after coming onto the field. And she'll take this free kick and she'll be able to spot up Tierney.
She's out of the ruck women's club. You can't hit 25-metre passes like that. She's out.
So Tierney goes for the handball. She's got Ugle running. This is what she loves to do so much. She sends it onto the boot. Players flying everywhere from Williamstown. Davies there for the Bombers. Bidenweg-Webster for the Seagulls. She overruns it. Clallan has to jump over her Bombers opponent. Frew's got the ball. She's nearly taken to ground. She can straighten up. Can she find McIntosh on the siren? Will this one go through? Frederica Frew on the final siren of today's match sent that ball, and she's got a major. And she just adds a little bit of icing on the cake here for the Bombers. 10-5-64. They have defeated Williamstown 2-1-13. A comprehensive performance here by Essendon at their home turf.
Yeah, very clinical with all the with all the conditions happening. The breeze certainly playing into effect as well during the game. And that goal, it'd be a little bit disheartening for Williamstown just to let that one go, because they've been very good with their tackle pressure all game, and to have Frew just break a tackle like it was just a piece of cake. It was a bit disappointing, but again, very, very, very well done by the Bombers today.
That just quietly might be the Dancing with the Stars audition then, with that just beautiful blind spin.
Yeah, there were a couple of players that were trying to do the pirouettes today. Peter, we saw Courtney Ugle before trying to pull that off. No, but look, I think it was a very solid performance by the Bombers today.
Let's get down to Jono.
Yeah, so I've just checked on Amelia Radford there. Probably a bit of a nosebleed there. She's been in the attention from the doctors, but no doubt there was something thrown there. It's going to be interesting to watch the footage after this one. Now, in terms of who we're going to get a post-match interview from, who do you guys reckon we should get?
Oh, geez. You're asking too much, because we could go for quite a few players here.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
What do you
reckon? Just the third goal for Frew. Get her there.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I think it does. I think it does.
Get Fetty in.
Get Fetty.
All right, let's do it.
So Jono will have a quick chat with Federica Frew down there on the boundary line. Jump in when you've got a 10-5-65 Essendon Williamstown 2-1-13. We are on air on WARFradio.com for another 10 minutes up until 1 o'clock. YouTube may drop out soon, but remember, on WARFradio.com we'll continue right through to the top of the hour. The Essendon girls just in a huddle at the moment with a few words before Jono can get Fetty. And I let you know that tomorrow, 9 a.m, we're on air on WARFradio.com to bring you Carlton and Port Melbourne. And the B team will be on the YouTube stream, the VFLW YouTube stream at 10 o'clock to bring you North Melbourne and Darebin. And as we said, we'll be back here next week for what looks like a potential top-of-the-table clash, Essendon and the Southern Saints.
Oh, I'll tell you what, it's going to set up a mouth-watering clash. I mean, we've seen the best of the Southern Saints already this season. They've just been very clinical, and I tell you what, against the Cats team that not to be sneezed at by any means. I'll tell you what, I'll be looking forward to that game.
9 goals from 2 games is Fetty Frew, and we go down to John O'Van.
You're doing it. I tell you what, one thing's for sure, the Essendon girls love it when someone's on Media Street. That's for sure. I do indeed have Federica
Keep
here.
walking with her. Walk and talk, John.
As the girls go off, I tell you what, the conditions were less than ordinary, but I tell you what, I saw you in the first quarter with those soccer skills as they piled on the goals of your team. I tell you what, a fantastic win again for your team.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a tough effort. They threw everything they had at us, but we're a resilient bunch, and yeah, we had it back, I think, today. Yeah.
We spoke about in the pre-game how much of a home ground advantage that we have here at the hangar. What's your take on that? Because obviously you pile on the goals and the wind seems to work in your favour. It's a great facility here, and I guess that really works well in your favour, doesn't it? Sorry.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely like a home out here, and with the redevelopment, it's awesome. We've got the best facilities. Love training here. The ground's beautiful. The boys always leave it in good nick for us. But yeah, it's such a good ground to play at. Lots of space, which really, as you said, works in our favour.
Tell you what, the girls are very keen to get in there and sing the songs. They do that, and you're back here next week. So all the best, and thanks for joining us on wolfradio.com.
Thank you. 50 in the house, bounce, baby.
I tell you what, if the fine system's still a thing in VFLW footy, that's got to be $5 minimum.
Oh,
it's interesting you say that because
that's a solid 10. That's a solid 10.
It's interesting you say that because they were talking in pre-game about media fines and Brett, who we spoke to earlier today, he's copped one, so it'd be interesting to see the fine wash up after this one. And I think the reason why the girls are just so pumped is because, well, they don't get fined, but whoever we get to talk to does.
I love it. All the fines you can come up with just for ridiculous things. You've got to love it. I remember one time at my local cricket club, we're finding everyone dropped catches and whatever, and there's one bloke who's done everything perfectly right, and we go, how do we find this bloke? We looked at him going, you're a left-hander, aren't you? Yeah, fine.
Now, I'll tell you, we're talking about fine. I got fined, I think it was about 12 months ago for taking my top off during a training drill.
Oh, God, that's a pain and suffering.
Yeah, exactly.
I got fined for paying my subs, the first of the team in the 5th 11 at Mulgrave Cricket Club.
That's a tax.
Might ask for a refund, actually.
10-5-65, Essendon, Williamstown, 2-1-13. Lauren Borden, you've seen weeks' worth of AFLW football calling in the ABC Sport commentary booth. What do you see of this VFLW level? As much as today, yes, the margin is large in the end, 65 to 13. From what you saw last year, how do you view this year's VFLW?
Yeah, it's been good, and looking at Essendon specifically, when you look at them being the next team to come in, I think they're looking nice already, and this is their VFLW side. You look at some of their connection that they've had, you know, Ugle had the ball, Morecambe around the broadcast side of the ground, and then the way they send the ball inside 50, they're quite crafty when it gets down there. They never seem to be ever out of their depth, and I'm very impressed with the way that, you know, whether it was Clifford, whether it was McIntosh, whoever it was, they turned something out of nothing, and they got away from their opponents. They found the space that they needed. And I think that's those little touches of class that we saw from them that, again, they'll need to take that up another level, but it puts them in good stead for whenever the competition does start.
Yeah, exactly. And I just think there is so many players in this team that I've seen over the first month that can easily make that jump to AFLW level. I mean, we talked about a player like Federica Frew that's such a reliable set shot on goal. Can easily make that jump, and the whole forward line, really. They lead well. They've got good synergy. The patterns are strong. And I look at players in the midfield as well. Zanketta had a magnificent game. Amelia Radford I've really enjoyed. Sarah Ford playing that link-up sort of outside midfielder role as well has been terrific. There's quite a few players that are already staking their claims to be in the AFLW team next year.
Daniel Hill is the hardest job for Brendan Major going forward, who to drop, because obviously, as we said, Georgia Nanscombe will eventually come back in. There's some other players. We spoke of Bella Air, if she does pull on the boots in a couple of weeks. Then you've got to consider the Calder Cannons talent, like we've already saw Manfrey today, that will feed through at the end of the NAB League girls season. Plus, of course, naturally, you've got to think of AFLW players that get delisted soon after the AFLW season that may want to jump across to Essendon for the second half of the VFLW. This is a juggling act and a half.
Yeah, it's going to be a very, very fluid situation, and obviously with the season being when it is, it's going to create some intrigue around those particular dates, and even as we've seen in the past, the rules or lack thereof of enforcement and bending, and let's call it what it is. I think it's the right way to go. Give everyone a chance to play. I think the good thing for Essendon is they know they've got a very, very good side. They're streets ahead of a side like Hawthorn who are coming in, and things are working really well. And Brendan Major's done it before. He's coached teams that have been in the top 2, 3, 4, and knows what winning culture looks like. So I think if there's anyone who can handle it, it's certainly him in terms of having those conversations with those players. And I think there's sort of an element as well. There's going to be an attrition rate. There always is. I mean, you don't hope for it. But as we've seen so far, there are some sides in the competition, and fortunately for Williamstown, only have one or two on the injury list at the moment. Essendon have 5 or 6. You'd expect it to probably stay around that number as the season gets longer, and as the season moves into possibly the wetter months, if you like, can get a bit more wear and tear on the body. So, but they're in a terrific position, Essendon. I would say, from what I've seen today, and having seen some of the other sides, they're right there in terms of the premiership favouritism. So they're in really, really good nick at this point.
Before we go some around the ground scores, and you said about long season, I think it is for the Bulldogs. They're 1 straight 6, went down to Casey 15-7-97.
15-7-97.
Yes.
That's brutal.
Oh, geez, it's almost a mirror image of this game. It is going to be a very long year for the Dogs if this keeps up. Hopefully some of the AFLW players can come back in, make a statement, particularly their younger players. There's so much scope for the younger brigade, and we've already seen it at AFLW level this year that there is a lot of scope for them to be so good at what they do. Look, you just want to see more effort around the ground from them.
In the other games, the Southern Saints 6-3-39 defeated Geelong 3-1-19. Geelong with their first loss of the year. And Lauren, it's halftime at Victoria Park, and the Hawks are up 3-2-20, leading the Pies 1 straight 6.
Very, very interesting to see if the Hawks can keep that one up, because that will be a big result if they do.
And that is the afl.com.au game, if you want to watch that at the moment with 1 half to go. Just quick before we go off air, tomorrow we've got Carlton and North Melbourne on wharfradio.com from 9 a.m. The VFLW YouTube stream at 10's got North Melbourne, Darebin. Carlton Port, should I say. Carlton Port, Jono, who wins?
Carlton.
Dan?
Yeah, Carlton.
Yeah, you'd have to go Carlton. Port Melbourne aren't just they're struggling at the moment, aren't they?
They do get Claire Dyatt in the captain's band for tomorrow, so that's going to be interesting. And
Kate Adams back as well, Lisa Davey
as well.
A little bit of experience. Lauren?
I can't go past Carlton either.
I'm going to go the boil over. I'm going to go Port.
Oh.
North Melbourne and Darebin being played at Arden Street. John O'Ven.
North.
Yeah, North by plenty.
Oh, yeah, you'd have to go North, but I wouldn't count Darebin out.
Oh, Kangas comfortably.
North have yet to win this year. Darebin have won, and Darebin beat North at North last year.
Yeah.
I'm going Darebin.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I reckon Darebin.
At least a show.
We saw it last week that they were quite competitive in patches around the ground against a much more experienced and well-oiled unit in Hawthorn. So you'd be crazy not to give them a chance against a North side that have clearly struggled as well.
Well, time for us to wrap up here on WARFradio.com. First of all, to John O'Ven, thanks for your work on the Barringer today, and we look forward to your company tomorrow as you call alongside Toby Hansen, Katie Lembeski, Brett Sternberg and Paul Sebastiani.
Looking forward to working with Brent again, and indeed Paul. Looking forward to seeing how he pronounces that Carlton player's name, which doesn't immediately
Stramandioli or Zampalion?
It will for Paul instantly.
To Daniel Hill, great to have you back, mate, after 3 years and making the drive down from Bendigo as well.
Short trip to the hangar, mate. It's practically the backyard. So it's fantastic to be here. And look, we've got a terrific team on Wharf Radio across the A team, B team, C team. Fantastic to be here, and you're still steering the ship with absolute aplomb. So fantastic to be part of it again.
Yeah, I'm just whiter with more grey hair. Alex Doherty from the A3 podcast and the Mongrel Punt website and the Hampton Hammers. Thank you very much.
Oh, always a pleasure to call alongside you again, Peter, and alongside you guys. It's been fantastic.
And it's great to have back the superstar from ABC Sport, and you'll hear her again next week, Lauren Borden. Quick plug. What ABC call are you on next?
We have Vic Park, so it'll be Collingwood taking on Richmond down there at Vic Park. A bit of alfresco commentary, I think, where you sit out. A little bit like Wharf Radio, so it'll be nice.
And you're calling a game that involves Collingwood and Richmond. Make sure you've had your rabies shots.
Oh.
And we wrap up on that note.
From an Essendon supporter.
Of course. 10-5-65 Essendon, Williamstown 2-1-13. I'm Peter Holden. On behalf of all the commentary team, thank you very much for your company this afternoon, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Bye for now.